pimpin', no bull, you best set the score.
Do you get to choose all the music?
Actually, I do.
Awesome. That's so great.
Wonderful. Yes, he mindlessly pushes play for a living.
Well, it's a little more than that.
Do you play any Kid Cudi?
Man, I don't know what the fuck this shit is. Coming in at the bottom of the damn ranking, we have 2011's Alan Gregory. What a damn tangle web we weave. Hey, I got next, bro. Fuck it. Alan Gregory is a show about the titular Alan Gregory, a 7-year-old rich-ass, pretentious-ass kid raised by 2 dads and an adopted sister that he rarely interacts with that goes to public school in a new town because of, I guess, the recession? That's what the Wikipedia says, so you know it's reliable. The show was created by these 3 guys, but here's a name that you should know. That's McLovin's homeboy, the one I used to draw dicks in class.
Dicks? Like a man dick?
Man, y'all know me. I'm nice. Like, really nice. Like, really, really nice. But I cannot fuck with this Alan Gregory shit, man. There's pushing the envelope, right? Then there's setting the envelope on fire. But Alan Gregory ain't even make it to the damn post office, my nigga. I do think it's animated pretty well, though. I think the aesthetic that it's going for is really nice looking. This isn't a lazy cartoon. I actually hate when people say shit like that. And if you knew just how hard the animation was, I don't think you would say it either. The characters have nice silhouettes. The colors really help it stand out. This intro is cool looking as fuck. Like, it's a nice looking cartoon. Like, looking at this is definitely the best part of watching it. And Jonah Hill is great in it, but he's fucking Jonah Hill, you know? He's always funny. That's the nigga that fucks his cousin.
I'm not gonna let someone else fuck my cousin. You know, if anyone's gonna fuck my cousin, it's gonna be me out of respect, you know?
Alan Gregory is an asshole. He is a piece of shit. I do not like this nigga.
Shut up, Patrick!
Fuck this nigga. And this nigga wants to be down so bad. You think this was like some Boss Baby shit, but no, he is washed. Most episodes of him very desperately trying to be the popular kid's friend. Like, to an obsessive degree, he kind of goes nuts with this shit. There's one where the cool kid, Zadak, is out sick, so AG tries to hold the fort down for him. The kids actually start to like him more than a homie, but he's so hell-bent on making sure that he's in Zadak's good graces that he actively goes out of his way to make sure that they don't forget about him.
I like it better without him. Is that so crazy?
It's not crazy, Guillermo. I feel the same way.
And I guess you're going through with the whole breakup?
Yeah.
Ah, Bernique. Little sweet black Bernique.
Alright, my nigga, watch it. Am I supposed to root for this nigga? Am I supposed to root for anybody here? Because if you can believe it, his bald daddy is worse. Nigga like a fucking high fashion Mr. Clean. Oh, cuddly ass Bill Burr. There you have it. Those are the 2 bald white guys that I know. I think they're going for a subplot where Alan's new daddy is secretly a straight man who's just been manipulated into a gay relationship. Fuck is the deal with that?
5 years ago, I was a straight man. I had a wife, 2 kids. I was happier than I had ever been. And then one day, I had a meeting with a potential client. He was an older gay man, and we had a connection, a strictly platonic one, given my lifelong heterosexuality. He wouldn't take no for an answer. He persisted. He followed me everywhere, gave me flowers, gifts. He believed deep within his heart that we were destined to be together.
You started to believe it too?
This poor straight man, holy shit. This is such a tragic figure in animation. Only one of these shows with 2 gay parents, and they got this nigga in the sickest, most manipulative relationship in any of these shows.
Well, I think it would just need to be regular sex. Like, one person should be running away saying, no, I don't feel like it. The other person should completely ignore that and say something like, come on, Jeremy, just go with it. Then there should be a slap, and then somebody should plead to God like, what has my life become? And then I think we should just wrap it up with a little crying in the bathroom.
Sheesh.
And the principal, dog. Oh boy. There is a subplot in about 4 episodes of this cartoon where Alan Gregory really wants to shake hands with the principal. Let's say that for now. I don't really want to say the other thing for my own sake.
I'm glad I got
Wait a minute.
Let me ask you something. Is it just like a complete mess down there?
I'm gonna level with you. It's like post-Katrina.
Oh, damn it, you're perfect. Alan Gregory.
Just a good old-fashioned handshake, yep. Huh? And maybe, and I could ignore it, since, you know, it's only in 4 episodes, right? But there's 7. There's only 7 episodes total. They gave these niggas 7.5 hours, and this is how they came.
Oh my God.
In episode 1, he shits himself and gaslights the kids about it.
Oh, you're hilarious. No, that wasn't me.
It is kind of funny.
In episode 2, he lies and tells the school that him and the principal have a sex tape together and emotionally manipulates her husband into believing it.
Alan Gregory, it's not healthy to keep promoting this charade.
Yeah, I guess it was a charade to sneak over to her place the weekend her roommate husband was at a psychology convention in Santa Fe.
You could have found that out by Googling my name.
Or I could have found out by Googling your wife.
Like, dog, what is this shit? They did everything they could, bruh. This nigga AG was dead on the scene. I don't need no more Alan Gregory in my life, bruh. It wasn't that hard to get through or nothing, but this shit just made me uncomfortable. Characters you hate, some wild ass, uncomfortable ass imagery, problematic representation, like that's Jonah Hill as the Mexican kid.
Playing a kid cuddy.
It's all over the place. Track it down if you want, but don't blame me if you don't fuck with it. The only AG I fuck with is Lil.
Oh, say less.
Please sit down. That's what they told Rosa Parks. And she sat down all right, but I won't.
Yep, wrong show.
Right above Alan Gregory, we have Border Town, running for a solid 13 episodes. Not to be confused with the Netflix show that came out the exact same year, but ended up lasting 3 years longer. Oh, nice, Comic Sans font. I'm having a great time.
Híjole, let's go!
Wow, that was cool. I'm gonna do that.
Border Town is about Bud, some racist white nigga that works for border control. They live next to a Mexican family, and his daughter is engaged to this lame ass, pussy ass, cornbread ass nigga next door. I am not beating the demonetized allegations. They spend the whole pilot hyping this soft ass, ugly ass nigga JC up. I hate this nigga. He's soft like baby shit.
You softer than baby shit.
Nigga dressed like Fat Albert. Get this nigga off my screen before I burst into tears. It's fucking All in the Family ass Family Guy. You wanna see something trying to be Family Guy, nigga? Here you go. It follows all of the same design philosophies of all the Seth MacFarlane cartoons. Even down to the mouth shapes. That's one of the first things that I noticed. Peter and Stan have this very specific way that they're drawn when their mouths are closed. It's hard to explain, but the daddy in this show is actually drawn the exact same way. What I mean by the All in the Family comparison, though, is that it kind of positions itself to be something like that. The values of this very racist and traditionally thinking man are challenged when his daughter comes home with the total opposite of what he believes. But it kind of falls off in the execution. They don't really go for that as much as they want you to believe that they do. Bud isn't even really a character, he's more like an idea. He's not well-rounded. I can't really tell you what he cares about. He's a racist border security guard, and the show's just kind of like, well, isn't he stupid for thinking this way? But like, that's it. All in the Family was complex. It had real commentary on the past and present generations. And I feel like if you're going to do this kind of show, that's the direction that you have to go. King of the Hill was good at this too.
So are you Chinese or Japanese?
Otherwise, you just have half an hour of a guy being racist and a show being racist by showing racial stereotypes and just expecting the audience to guess which side they're on. I think the show thinks it's satirical, but I also think that it puts way too much faith in the audience to just assume that this is all jokes. That's not satire, that's just literally saying a stereotype is true.
Oh, come on! The Virgin Mary is not in your tortilla! Stop doing this! It only reinforces a negative cultural stereotype.
I like Mexican food. You got a problem with that?
Ultimately, this isn't really my business. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to speak for anybody. The creator of this shit did grow up in New Mexico, so I could just be talking out my ass for all I know. For all I know, this could just kind of be like the Cleveland show. I think people think that black people hate that shit, but everybody I talk to has just kind of been like, oh yeah, they made that shit. Why? But even if it's not offensive, I def think it's like a missed opportunity, because all they're doing is telling a bunch of random jokes about one culture without really having much to say. So with all of this, how exactly is this better than Alan Gregory? Hey man, listen, I wish I could come up here and tell you that this shit wasn't funny, but I can't, bruh. I wasn't with it at all at first, but these niggas started fighting back. I def laughed a few times.
Oh my god, JC! JC, are you okay? JC, talk to me! JC, wake up! I found a piano!
Hey, Steve. Hey, Buckwald, let me give you a little tip. Oh, wait, you already have it in your pants because it's your penis.
I'll have a vodka tonic.
Sorry, we don't serve minors.
Ha! That doesn't mean every joke's a hit, because I fucking hate this one. Holy shit. Disgusting, bro. Like, why Whitney? Cartoons do shit like this all the time. Love American Dad to death, but I almost threw up when I saw that get the crack joke. Fucking A. I'm not gonna go on the record and say that I like how this looks or anything, but some of these designs are just kind of funny. I think the two characters that I like the most are the mom and the little girl. I love this country ass little white girl, bro. This design is both hilarious and adorable. And they do this thing with background characters where some have eyes and some don't. They kind of just have like a line. Don't really feel one way or the other about that. So I don't think I could in good faith tell any of you niggas to go watch Border Town. Kind of feel like that might be like a hate crime, low-key. But if you do, I think you'll laugh more than Alan Gregory. I def know I did.
Oh, it's a good day to be a hero. I wonder what they're saying about me in the YouTube comment section. Hey, oh.
I'll miss you, Pedro. Thanks for taking me to Mexico.
That was my house.
Oh my gosh. Oh, cool. I actually like this one. Napoleon Dynamite, based on the film Napoleon Dynamite. I had actually never seen the original movie until my friends convinced me to watch it for this video. Sorry to all of the people that this may have offended, but as a black kid growing up in the G-Unit era, I think you can see why this wasn't on my fucking radar. I'm glad I saw it though. I can see why y'all rode this dick for 20 years. It's hilarious. So, to give you a little background on the movie before I talk about the show, here's my good friend Offbeat Kiki.
What up, fellow Earthlings? I'm Offbeat Kiki, the person who made you cry in the Brace Face video and made you laugh that time we roasted Toontastic Travis for liking Scoob. Napoleon Dynamite is one of my all-time favorite movies. I do usually get some eyebrow raises when I say that, because most people remember it for a few choice phrases such as, "Hey, you fat lard, come get some dinner," and the Vote for Pedro shirts that will never die. However, I think there is a lot more to remember and appreciate about this low-budget indie classic. There are very few movies that successfully communicate the alienation and vague emptiness of middle-of-nowhere America as well as Napoleon Dynamite. It strongly reminds me of the tiny town in Indiana where my dad grew up, where I used to go in the summer to visit my grandmother. There's nothing to do in those little towns. There's maybe one grocery store and 2 restaurants. Generations of families who have stayed in one place, one modest house with steep, unforgiving stairs, and an unsettling feeling late at night when everyone else but you is asleep. And the moment that you drive outside of that town, there's just farmland surrounding you for miles. Things are typically relatively slow and quiet, and as a result, no one is ever really in a hurry. Jared Hess and his co-writer and wife, Jerusha, were from the tiny town this was filmed in, and I think they knew this about their home and were really successful in capturing it on film, in part thanks to casting their friends John Heder and Aaron Rule as Napoleon and Kip. This middle-of-nowhere town environment is torture for kids and teenagers who are constantly seeking connection, stimulation, and new experiences due to their developing brains. Napoleon exists in his own world out of necessity due to his loneliness, inventing animals and learning dance moves on his own time, making up tales about his summer plans and fake girlfriends, maligned and discarded by his peers, grandmother, and brother for being himself. But he's really a kind, unassuming, and decent guy who extends his friendship to the new kid at school and the girl who sits alone alone at lunch for no reason other than the fact that he can. Something I think the movie does really well is relishing in its pauses for comedic effect. There aren't many traditional jokes written for the movie outside of a few slapstick moments. Instead, the film relies on the inherent absurdity of being human around other humans in everyday situations. There are so many moments where the silence and tension between characters is hilariously unbearable, and the characterization of each of the leads embraces the weirdness, awkwardness, and lack of glamour that exists in everyday, normal people. I basically laugh at every scene in this movie, and Tariq can attest to that because we watched it together for this video, but the funniest parts to me have always been Uncle Rico's past life football fixation and every single line delivered by Kip, one of the funniest, understated characters in cinema. I've also always loved the composition and color grading in this film because although the scenery is bleak and outdated on purpose, the movie was shot on film and basically every shot contains a gorgeous still. There are about 1,000 more things I could say about why this movie rules, but I think I'll let y'all get back to discussing cartoons, and I'll save those thoughts for an essay later on my channel. Thanks to my bestie and favorite collaborator, Terrific Tucker, for asking me to pop in. What's a Daria?
Yeah, watching the movie was pretty cool, but it did make me wonder how I'd react to this cartoon if I hadn't seen it, because a lot of my feelings on this show are based around how they compare to the film. Hey, so this is a wild complaint to have, but like, they're talking too fast?
What happened to your forehead?
Kip hucked some chicken skin at me and it gave me a buttload of zits. He's always disrespecting me because he's jealous of my sweet body.
The movie's really dry and low, really calm and quiet. That's where the humor and true beauty of it really comes from. This isn't written like that. And I guess it makes sense because of what era this is, what network this is, or whatever. But I'm also really curious what a show written like that film could be like. Like a sluggish, awkward ass, quiet ass cartoon. That's so fascinating. Y'all gonna think I'm shitposting, but the closest thing to that is probably like 12 Ounce Mouse. They kind of just talk to each other in like the calmest tone possible.
Like, whoa, look down there. Meows. Meows.
Man, if this was written like that, and it was on Fox, and it became a hit, man, I don't know. I feel like the landscape of adult animation just looks so different if that happens. Instead of sitcom, we just have this landscape of people trying to make the most awkward cartoons possible. It sounds like it kind of go hard. That's not to say what they do is bad or fucked up though. They kind of wrote it like King of the Hill instead, with a bit more slapstick.
Grandma's very sleepy. Firearms are safe with me. My foes will start respecting me.
Everybody in the world love to go clubbing.
It's such an easy trap this could have fallen into too. Emperor's New School did that shit, where like it took jokes that were really funny in the movie that weren't repeated, and then they just turn them into running gags. Like they just pop up here, there, everywhere. But they don't do that here. They kind of let the show create its own humor, which I think is an underrated thing about when movies go to series. It's arguably more important that this stands on its own as its own piece of media, right? Right? I'm asking y'all, I don't know.
You're gonna fight whether you want to or not.
Be careful, he has diarrhea.
I think it's worth it to say though that I have no emotional attachment to this movie, like at all. So I mean, like that could be why I'm able to look at this as its own thing and not worry about what it does or doesn't do. And I think a fan of the film is justified if they feel as though this series sort of robbed the film of its identity and charm. But I don't know, I just think it's kind of a funny cartoon to me. I like this shit. I love how it's animated too. It's a lot more subtle than a lot of other Fox shows. So many characters kind of like rest into their poses instead of going pose to pose. There's like a bounce. But like, this isn't a bad cartoon. This isn't a bad cartoon at all. I laughed a bunch. I thought this shit was funny, or at least it could be. But I don't know, I think it's even cool that they were able to do this. The movie is built around this small town, so it kind of lends itself to an animated format if you really think about it. They got the original cast back. They kind of did everything you were supposed to do except the tone. I don't know. It did alright. But it's not the movie. They kind of fumbled, but not really. They made a good show, but they just didn't make the show that they said they were going to.
What do you know? If it isn't Tinkerbell and his girlfriend, Taco Bell.
Nice. Sit the fuck down and shut your ass the hell up. Or stylized as sit down, shut up. No, not really. Damn, y'all niggas forgot what a joke was that fast?
Come on, guys, don't let the hunger get to you. We gotta win this thing. This is the pilot.
This is cool. So I guess you could look at Sit Down, Shut Up as Fox's second attempt after Futurama to kind of do like a workplace comedy kind of thing, except it's about teachers at school, which Abbott Elementary would later go on and perfect. But I'd be lying if I said they fumbled this. I remember really liking this as a kid when it came out, and it really made me happy that I was cracking the hell up this rewatch.
You want to see this girl, you know? And, she probably wants to see you. And I want to see you see her. But you're as defensive as one of your linemen, you man! Oh!
I love how this is drawn, designed, and animated. The colors, the live action backgrounds. This might be a little controversial, but this is one of the most appealing looking Fox cartoons to me. I think it's because of how loose these designs are. Every character kind of reminds me of a shapely sketch that you do in the margins of your composition books in class. Real drawing ass niggas, I think you know what I mean by that too. Really sets this one apart is that it's super fucking meta. Like, before that shit got dragged through the mud too. Like, look at some of this shit.
As anyone in Hollywood or Culver City or Korea or Glendale will tell you, the mark of any good production is how well it's...
But remember, the law says minimum requirements. I want you all to pass Miracle as quickly as possible. No one wants a two-parter here.
It's not easy being bisexual, is it?
I'm not gonna test well.
Editing is more than just cutting and pasting. It's knowing where to put the edited piece so as not to interrupt the flow of the story.
But if you saw my Chipmunk Adventure video from last year, you know that I tried to make a video on this. I really did. But man, this shit offends everybody. The first one alone was enough to make me kill that shit. This right here is in the first fucking minute of the pilot.
Hey, Happy!
Hey, we gaan het sabi happy va'ach nuaba. Subject, blegger, custodian. Catchphrase, fuck America. I'm fond of America.
Like, holy shit. They got the teachers taking drugs, hanging out in students' lockers and shit.
I'm not a teacher.
Sure, the student was 24, but nah, man, I ain't fucking with none of this shit.
He's a sophomore.
Come on, he's 23 years old. Hey, I think his son goes here.
What kind of man would I be if I made an AMV to this?
Well, you'd be a
gay jokes, some casual late 2000s transphobia. Definitely not indicative of the show as a whole. They kind of slow this stuff down after the second episode, but I'd definitely be remiss if I didn't mention it. But I guess the reason why it's so high is because when it's not doing that stuff, it's honestly just really funny. It got some big laughs out of me. The characters are fun and distinct. I fucking love Kenan Thompson playing this black lady principal.
Well, why don't we start with acting Principal Cesno, and later in the semester, we can try to get rid of you. Move your car.
He doesn't even change his voice. I love it. I don't know, man. This is all I got. I definitely think there's a little nostalgia talking here. Maybe a lot, I don't know. Because if you would have asked me as a kid which one of these shows in this video was my favorite, it'd definitely be this one. I don't know, I think it's worth a gander if you're like a South Park Family Guy kind of person. If not, skip it, bro. These niggas don't got nothing for you over here. It's without a doubt the most raunchy show on this damn list. There is no other competition. Viewers' discretion is advised like shit.
Allow me to serve you, oh great one.
You know, I only just met her just now, but I've seen her around school a bunch. She's like definitely changed a lot in the last year, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she was really into volleyball last year, but now she's...
And now she's like a total stoner. You know, it's like one beat of bread, no make them a rasta.
Man, fuck y'all. Fucking Son of Zorn, dude. Holy shit. Son of Zorn takes place in a crazy upside down world, unlike our own, mind you, where people want to fuck cartoons. It's about Zorn, a He-Man parody dude who leaves his hood mid-battle to come back to America and be with his teenage human son. He deals with really hard, everyday things like raising his son, fucking his boss, casual racism.
I don't get it. I mean, it's 2016. Are people okay with this sort of racism?
I blame the Mexicans.
Son of Zorn is definitely funny. I didn't really laugh that much while watching the first few, but the shit absolutely started fighting back. It's like a subtle funny. I could see if this ran a little longer and we had a chance to really get attached to these characters, it could be fucking hilarious. It really seems like the kind of thing that's funnier the more invested you are and familiar you are with this family and scenario. And since these are real people, it operates narratively more like a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air or Family Matters rather than a Simpsons or Family Guy. I think that's part of why I like it so much. The show starts with a major status quo shift just like Fresh Prince, but also like it's really situational, but they go out of their way to show consistent character growth. In just these 13 episodes, there's growth, changes in relationships. You sincerely start to understand the emotional weight behind everything, and you could visibly see them building on it. And that is so different for a show on a block where characters are just like frozen in time, doomed to have the same kind of static character traits that just reset by next week. I feel like if they just let Son of Zorn rock, it could have been this really cool anomaly. The kid could grow up, graduate, start his own family. He's not locked into his age. It's impossible for him to be. Speaking of the titular Son of Zorn though, this poor kid is literally half cartoon. Like literally. The last reveal at the end of the pilot is that this nigga has rotoscoped cartoon legs. This is the most uncomfortable shit I've ever laid my eyes on. I mean, this bitch itching like a motherfucker. Which is wild though, because like, that's not how it works. Like, logic ain't just randomly black from the waist down. Unless. No way. Unless.
What are you, my 5-year-old brother?
Oh, that's my nigga Gibby? Is that my nigga Nicky Deuce?
They call me Nicky. Nicky Deuce.
What y'all niggas know about Nicky Deuce, man? Shit got the whole cast of The Sopranos in it. This shit is gangster.
Forget about it?
It's sort of a awkwardly staged show. I get it though, because they really got to be deliberate with the staging to make sure Zorn can fit into every environment. And to keep the show consistent, they film it that way throughout, even when he's not on screen. I'd say it's nowhere near Roger Rabbit, but it's about a grade or two above Out of Jimmy's Head. But I do think for a TV budget, this shit looks alright. You know Zorn's a cartoon, but you're supposed to. He never actually feels like he's not truly in the room or anything. Strong cast too. I love Tim Meadows as the black stepdaddy.
Villain making accusations of rape. Is that something we really need? Ow! Ah, Deb!
Son of Zorn stands out because it's the only one of these to end on a fucking cliffhanger. Can you believe that? Long story less long. Zorn is kidnapped at the end.
No, you don't understand my family. Let me go. You have to let me go. I sell soap now.
Thanks, Mom.
Damn, nigga said that's it. Zorn's dead. I recommend Son of Zorn though, y'all. I fuck with this shit heavy. I expected it to just be fine, but I ended up really loving this style, these characters, this fucked up universe with cartoon characters that aren't even really cartoons. They're just like another race. If you're looking for a good short run and don't mind that you'll never know if Zorn is alive or not, it's a pretty good time. It's great to see that it's more than just a punchline on Family Guy.
Somebody call 911. Damn it, Fox, that's not an invitation to ruin our moment to expand your media empire. Son of Zorn. Ha! Whether you like him or don't like him, there's nothing you can do about him because he's number one. Whether you like him or don't like him, there's nothing you can do about him because he's number one.
Of all the shows on this list, Bless the Hearts is definitely the sweetest, and that's why it hurts the most that it's gone. The second show on this list, produced by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, Bless the Hearts was a 2-season Fox cartoon about a working class family from North Carolina, consisting of a mother, daughter, mother's boyfriend, and grandmother. The mom, Jenny, works at a Christian-themed restaurant, The Last Supper, and Jesus pops out of the mural in the back to give her advice sometimes. I promise you'll get used to it. Fam, I fucking love Bless the Hearts. I loved it when it aired, dude. Me and Man of a Thousand Thoughts, that was our shit. What a fucking wholesome cartoon. You see at least one tweet a week of people begging adult animation to be sincere or sweet. Well, this is the show y'all been acting like don't exist. Well, Bob's Burgers is too, but for the sake of argument, let's just act like that one doesn't exist, I guess. It's so different from everything else too. Nothing about the art direction is the same. The pacing, the characters, the fucking line texture. Zoom in and look at these lines. This show is so fucking cool. I remember this feeling like a breath of fresh air, despite how many goofy ass niggas made fun of how it looked.
I don't know, Toonreek. This kind of looks like a Bitmoji.
Nigga, bit these fucking nuts in your mouth. This is why nobody take y'all seriously. Y'all say, oh, we want adult animation to look different. Then be like, oh, no, not like this. Fuck out of here, bro. Am I projecting? Nigga, who cares? I talk about cartoons for a little. I had a hard time for a second, just a brief second, figuring out which one of these will be number one, either this or Son or Zorn. I love how different Zorn is as well, how it paces itself and the situations that it puts its characters in. But then I started to think about which characters did I care about the most? What family did I genuinely want to see happy? Who did it hurt to see hurt? And Bless the Hearts won that bitch by a landslide. These characters care a lot about each other, and it just makes my heart smile. Wayne, the stepdad, gets some things wrong, but he gets more things right, and they love him for that. You think that the daughter is going to resent the stepdad, and the dynamic is them working through that throughout the series, but nah, she loves him. She literally tells him that day one. You think that the parents are gonna be a little skeptical of their daughter being an artist, maybe some get a real job vibes to play off of for comedy, but no, they believe in her more than she believes in herself sometimes. It's really sweet. They took the sweet way out instead of the comedically promising way so many times. There's a Thanksgiving episode that might be my favorite TV Thanksgiving anything I've ever seen, with the sweetest conclusion you've ever seen in your life that I just can't bring myself to spoil. I really love how Violet is written. Teenagers grow up, they grow sarcastic, they want their space, and they give her all of those traits. But I also think it's really easy to give a teenage character these traits and have it translate to them hating their parents, or at least being mean to them. But Violet very clearly loves her mom, grandma, and stepdad. She can still have fun with them, she can still laugh and cherish them. They're allowed to have that wholesome relationship. I can't sing this show's praises enough. If you watch any show from this video, please let it be Bless the Hearts, because this shit deserves the world and then some. Now, I will say all of this applies to the first 10. This is actually the only show on this list to actually crack the code and get a second season. I remember feeling like the second season was a downgrade when this was airing. I used to talk to Man about it all the time because it felt like we were the only people watching it live. I was hoping this watch I could be pleasantly surprised, but no. No, it's still worse. Stories got sillier, characters borderline regressed. In the first episode of this season, Jenny and Betty are already kind of out of character, but there's a part where they're sliding off the roof and Wayne just fucking stands there not doing anything for a gag. Sure, they just gotta extend their legs, but I don't know, just this whole scenario isn't who you told us that these characters were last year. And I think it just kind of removes what I really love about the show. I watched it because it was sweet. It made me give a fuck instantly. Not because it was funny, that was just a plus. A lot of this kind of felt like they were keeping up with the Joneses, and man, does it hurt to see. But it's not bad TV though, it's just kind of a letdown. But I will say that this show does end on a high note. And I love the second Thanksgiving episode too. They really spun the block and actually made it work super well. Maybe I'll do a separate video on this show someday, because there really is a lot to say and I feel like I kind of got to rush through a lot of this stuff just to fit the format of the video. But I'll just cut it here. I'm sure I'm uploading this late anyway. All right, there you go, fam. First recommendation to 2023. Go bless yourself with them hearts, gang.
We got a streak going, babies! That's enough, Randy.
For the stars I shoot, pimpin', no boy, you best check the scope.
It's been a while since I covered the kids cartoons, so I thought it was time to do that video on adult cartoon theatrical movies. Theatrical means released in theaters, by the way, so don't send me no Stewie Griffin or Untold Story and act like I'm supposed to do something with that. You better get on.
It's not a movie at all, Brian. Just 3 episodes back to back. This thing is an insult.
That's 5 movies based on 5 adult animated series released in 5 theaters. Well, you know, more than 5 theaters, but you get it. These are adult cartoon theatrical movies. Or cartoon theatrical movies, adults only if nasty. And most of you niggas are, I can smell it.
Hey, where can I donate to your indie cartoon?
Oh, that's so nice of you. Hold on, let me just go get the link.
Psych!
Alright, you got me.
On July 27th, the world as we know it will be exactly the same, except for Springfield, which is totally... What?
Thomas!
Doomed. 20th Century Fox presents...
Time to save my family!
The end-all, be-all of family comedies. The Simpsons movie, rated PG-13.
Did I save the day?
Actually, you doomed us all.
July 27th, only in theater.
How do you possibly make a movie based on arguably the most popular American animated series right before the start of its 19th season? Well, I'm not sure, but a bunch of old white guys gave it a shot in 2007 with The Simpsons movie. Oops. Green Day fucking dies while drowning in a polluted lake in Springfield, and Abe gets a vision in church.
Feel the spirit. Let it out.
What's good, Yucca?
Because of Lisa's activism, the town tries to get ahead of the lake issue, a citywide pledge to not do any more polluting to that water.
I hereby declare a state of emergency. Code Black.
Black? Huh. That's the worst color there is. No offense there, Carl.
I get it all the time.
Happy Black History Month, y'all. But Homer was too selfish to really get the gravity of the situation. He dumps a bunch of pig shit, don't ask, into the water. He sees death. The pollution in the lake gets so bad because of it that the United States government conceals the entire town into a dome with a plan to eventually blow them up. And because of this, Homer makes it to the point where every single soul in Springfield wants his head, including his damn daddy.
You know, the word apology is tossed around a lot these days, but when it comes from in here...
The Simpsons have to leave Springfield. They're on the run, they have no one but each other. They're the closest they've ever been, while at the same time falling apart. Because by that third act, Homer has fucking nobody, and it's all his fault. Ned Flanders, the family's neighbor, has shown significantly more compassion and care for Bart's well-being throughout this whole movie than Homer arguably has ever done in one sitting. When Bart's hanging off the roof, it's Ned who reminds Homer that his son could get hurt.
Homer, I don't mean to be a nervous pervert or anything, but if he falls, couldn't that make your boy a paraplegerino?
My grandma ain't like this joke. When he's butt-ass outside Krusty Burger, it's him who gives Bart an extra pair of pants so he can hide his wiener. Which only happens because Homer dared him to skateboard the Krusty Burger ass naked for some reason, father the damn year and shit.
How naked?
Fourth base.
The girls might see my doodle.
I was positive this little skateboard scene was gonna be the last Simpsons scene I've ever watched. When they showed the cut in the bushes for the gag with Bart's dick in the theater, my mother audibly said, and I quote, "What kind of cartoon is this?" Which, in hindsight, is a very justified reaction. That's actually the kind of shit I'd say in these videos. You can see where I get it from.
Whoa there, buddy!
He takes him fishing, gives him that good ass looking cocoa.
Oh my god.
Looking back, this little trauma response here from Bart is fucking nuts.
Oh no, my good pole!
Huh? You're not strangling me.
This poor child, what the fuck? I'm finna call CPS. They do a really good job really picking apart how all of this stuff makes Bart feel and why, after all this time, you can see why he'd want a kinder soul like Ned as a father.
Haddly doodly. Haddly doodly. Haddly doodly.
You little... You strangle you.
Diddly diddly.
Bart, stop it! Leave this to me.
Bart, stop it, as if this nigga is not getting choked out by his daddy, is fucking insane. And I've always really liked how this part of the plot wrapped up. We get to watch Homer walk himself into understanding what like generational trauma is. And he didn't even need an Instagram post or a TikTok where someone with a shitty green screen effect is pointing the text over sad audio. Good for him. God, am I getting old? Did y'all hear how bitter that sounded?
I wasn't much of a father. Maybe it starts with the way my dad raised me. Yes, it's clear to me. It's just been one long unbroken cycle of...
Somebody throw the goddamn bomb!
Homer's mindset is really selfish throughout this entire movie in general. He ignores the fact that he very publicly embarrassed his son because he saw a pig wearing a hat. He ignores every single warning Marge gives him about his actions. The pig shit, really any pork-related activity, I guess. And when she presses him about it, he doesn't even have a real answer for why he does what he does.
I need to know what was going through your mind when you didn't listen to me and dumped that silo in the lake.
Ooh, I would have waved the gun in this nigga face so fast.
A lot of you niggas, they let you niggas, a lot of you niggas, they let you niggas go.
Lisa is like OG tree hugger. She fought for the whole first act trying to save the damn lake, and her father fucks it up so bad that they literally have to flee their home.
Monster! You monster!
Did you see the news?
Homer spends 30 minutes showing us and his family that he legitimately only cares about himself, even if he doesn't mean to. By Act 2, he has angered every single member of this family that can speak, and the only one that gives him grace and space to prove himself is his wife. His kids are fucking over it. But Marge sticks beside him because she still knows him to figure these things out in the end. She still knows him to care about what's most important. So when they hear on the news that they finna blow up Springfield, everyone they know and has ever loved will be killed, and he just doesn't care at all. The last lingering thread is cut, and Marge realizes that she does not recognize him anymore. I did a video on his part a few years ago, but because of his lack of compassion and just general assholishness, Marge leaves Homer in what I think is a top 10 scene in the entire Simpsons franchise.
So I'm leaving with the kids to help Springfield, and we're never coming back. And to prove to myself that this is the end, I taped this over our wedding video. Goodbye, Homer.
First, let's get one thing straight. I'm not crying. I'm just sweating through my eyes.
And with nobody there for him but himself and his big-breasted lady who was breathing in his mouth. Okay, bro, I see you, me next. Homer finally comes to the realization that he needs to protect everybody close to him.
Because other people are just as important as me. Without them, I'm nothing. In order to save myself, I have to save Springfield! That's it! Isn't it?
In my adult years, I've really grown to appreciate Albert Brooks as not only an actor, but a director, a writer. Have y'all ever seen some of his movies? Real life, modern romance. They're some of the most interesting and funny movies I've ever seen in my whole life. As a kid, I knew him because of how good he always was on The Simpsons. He was the show's first guest star for a reason. I love Hank Scorpio as much as the next guy, but to me, his best performance is Jock in season 1 by a country mile.
What's brunch?
You'd love it. It's not quite breakfast. It's not quite lunch, but it comes with a slice of cantaloupe at the end. You don't get completely what you would at breakfast, but you get a good meal.
Bringing back your first guest star for the movie is a really cute way to celebrate the show, but also a cheat code because he is so funny as Russ Cargill, the government guy.
I want 10,000 tough guys, and I want 10,000 soft guys to make the tough guys look tougher. And here's how I want them arranged. Tough, tough, soft, tough, soft, soft, tough, tough, soft, soft, tough, soft.
There's this one scene where these whimsical little Disney-like animals help Homer and Marge get ready for bed, and they just have like hella sex in front of them, which is a very funny parody considering that this is a Disney movie now. What a damn tangled web we weave.
I'm the mascot of an evil corporation.
They start fucking, it was gross.
But the whole reason a scene like that works is because of how great the animation is in this thing. Getting David Silverman to direct this was a major key. He's a big reason why the show looks the way that it does. And he's always great for making sure these characters look alive. Even in things that I don't like, he really has a way to keep the show looking visually interesting. The timing in this has a really snappy Looney Tunes thing going on. Even on something quick and small like Lisa's little reaction here. Stuff like that is all throughout this movie. Look at Marge ducking down here. I always thought this was great. She ducks down, remembers how tall her hair is, and quickly pulls it down too. They smoked this whole movie. It looks unbelievable. that Hans Zimmer scored too, it really makes this movie feel massive. It's probably the only movie in this video that still kind of makes you feel like you're in a movie theater, no matter where you watch it. One thing I always thought was really cool about most of the crowd shots in this is how often they're filled with characters that you'd actually know, depending on how many episodes of the show you've seen. Normal casual fans will see this shot and instantly recognize characters like Otto or Hibbert, but a sick fuck like me will wonder why the guy from Mars Be Not Proud is holding a banana at a Green Day concert. This practice though kind of implies things about some of the characters that I'm not sure they meant. Any reason why Herman and Apu's dad are just staring at Bart's dick?
Nelson, honey, where have you been? Ha ha! Ha ha! Ha ha!
This shot with the entire cast burning torches moving slowly towards the Simpsons family house is fucking incredible. And again, all characters you'd recognize depending on how big of a fan you are.
Guys, look, those idiots don't even know where we live.
There's a lot of cool stuff they do with the camera in this, which definitely makes sense. The show absolutely used to experiment with stuff like that from time to time, but it's on full display here. I don't think these characters have ever been more three-dimensional, including when they're literally in 3D. This little moment here where Milhouse jerks his arm up after Nelson runs up behind him. I've definitely drawn that exact take before. Russ Cargill throwing his binoculars and them ricocheting back and hitting him in the face. I did that too at the top of my Goofy movie video. Even something as small as how their eyes like pop open when they wake up. I learned so much from watching this thing as a kid. I have no idea what my work would look like without it. Maybe it'd actually be good. I will always love the Simpsons movie. You niggas could kiss my ass. Whoa. I'm not sure who that was directed to. I probably could have done a whole longer video on just this movie alone, and maybe I'll regret that when I've exhausted this kind of video and run out of ideas, which will, without a doubt, happen sometime in the near future because I know myself. But I think the fact that there's so much to say about it is what makes it so damn rewatchable after 15 years. I love this thing too much. There's no way I won't be bringing it up sometime in the near future. A top 20 movie for me. And that's saying a lot. I'll be watching like Goodfellas and shit.
Ready? Go!
Wait! It looks like Maggie has something to say.
Oh my God, her first word.
Sequel?
Now hurry up, nigga. You ain't got much time. Fuck you waiting for? Marge getting old as hell.
Up your Memorial Day.
Big things are coming for Summertina.
With the Belchers in theaters. The Bob's Burgers movie, rated PG-13.
If you know anything about me, you knew this one was coming. Or if you checked the chapters on YouTube, or saw the thumbnail. 2022's The Bob's Burgers movie. A movie that I loved so much that I ran home and dumped all my money into hopelessly producing my own indie animation.
Anyway, please donate to my pilot.
I know I did a short video on this movie back when it first came out. Y'all might not know I did it, but I do. But fuck it. Buckle up, boys, because we doing it again. Get excited.
Okay, Bob, grab your meat. Please don't shout that at me. Right, grab your meat.
Bob and Linda are in danger of being late with their loan payment right when the street right in front of their restaurant caves in and shoots out water.
Oh my God.
Louise goes into the hole and accidentally discovers the dead body of Carney Cotton Candy Dan, so now it's also a crime scene. Yeah, no, having kids seems great. Really, can't wait. I saw this movie maybe 3 or 4 times in the theater when it was out, and the funniest part of every screening, without a doubt, was hearing the audience react to those dead man's teeth falling into Louise's mouth. This is just one of those evergreen emotions that everyone understands, like finding one more French fry before throwing a Wendy's bag out.
You go into a hole.
Accidentally fall into a hole.
Gracefully tumble in while screaming. Go into a hole. You get to keep whatever lands in your mouth. That's a rule.
That's true under the bleachers, too.
Hey! So now it's a murder mystery with the kids trying to find out who killed Cotton Candy Dan to not only save their family's restaurant, but to free their landlord who got bagged for the murder. This is one of the 2 musicals in this video, and while the South Park movie is pretty much impossible to beat in that regard, The songs in this thing are relentlessly memorable. These things have been in and out of my head for the past few years. Nigga, I'll throw one Sunny Side Up in the middle of a snowstorm just to feel something, anything. There's a couple characters that I didn't realize aren't around in this thing until much later. Like, it wasn't until I watched one of the DVD extras that I realized that Gail isn't in this. There was supposed to be a whole thing at Cotton Candy Dan's funeral where they found out that she used to date him, but I think they just kind of took it out to make the movie run smoother structurally. Jimmy Pesto, he's in a couple shots, but very noticeably does not speak because his voice actor got bagged for storming the Capitol on January 6th. I put a joke here, but I assure you, nothing is funnier than our reality. This shit is the joke. I think I definitely would have loved to see these characters and other ones, but they give us enough recurring characters so the movie doesn't feel like it neglects its expanded world. Honestly, the movie's biggest crime is probably that they used this fake ass Bill Hader to play Mickey. Let me guess, he was too busy and couldn't pull up to read a few lines. Yeah, right, what the hell else he was doing? Barry, ain't that shit about Obama?
See, they're not cops. Cops don't dance around like that. They dance like this.
As I'm sure you could probably tell by now from all the B-roll, this is a very pretty movie. Probably the prettiest looking in this whole video, which is saying a lot and nothing at all at the same time. If the character acting isn't doing something really flowy and expressive, there's some interesting blocking, a really gorgeous looking background, really specific lighting, or just some great stuff with the camera, really moving around to give you that movie scale. If you really pay attention to the kind of stuff they're doing here, they definitely beat the just add shading allegations by a country mile. One of my favorite pieces of character animation in this whole thing is a shot where the family is celebrating making it out of the crime hole.
Crime hole.
Jane. All these drawings are really loose. They really just are 2D Muppets, huh?
Oh, my sweet babies. So glad we're not dead.
The environments and lighting are really on 10 in the scene where the kids go to investigate Felix's treehouse. I'm still having a hard time figuring out how they got some of these colors. I honestly don't know why I'm going through all this trouble to show y'all all this animation. Most people watch these shits without even looking at the screen. I could just slam a JPEG up of a fucking purple dildo and y'all wouldn't even know. Ah, you nasty fuck, did you look? Story-wise, I always thought what they did here was really interesting. The plot feels big enough and heavy enough to justify the longer runtime, but also isn't too much that it breaks the show's world. Niggas don't get murdered every day in Bob's Burgers, but it's still believable. Because they live in Jersey. Comparatively, if you would have told me back in 1990 after the first Simpsons season that show's movie was gonna be about the town blowing up and Homer climbing on top of a dome with his bare hands to save it, I wouldn't have said anything because I wasn't even in my dad's nuts yet, but you get my point. The Bob's Burgers movie is big and pushes the series forward, but also could have had the exact same plot if it came out after season 2, and nobody would act like they're jumping the shark. It's really clever how they did this. They do a great job setting everything up with Bob and Linda, reestablishing that status quo that Bob leans on her for support and positivity, even in moments where he doesn't realize that he's doing it. But because of the kind of person Linda is, she has no problem doing this because of how effortless this kind of mindset is for her. It's something that's all over the cartoon and they give you enough time to pick up on it here. And it's really nice to see Bob get a moment where he not only does for Linda what she's done for him all of these years, but he also realizes how much of a burden that must be for her.
You never give up. I give up. And then you say, don't give up. And I say, okay. And then we do that over and over. And now that I'm saying it out loud, that can't be fun. Do you want a divorce before we die? I don't deserve you. Nah, I can stick it out.
And at the end, Bob stumbles to give Gene a pep talk like Linda would, closing out his arc by showing him taking the next steps to try to be more optimistic.
Well, it's gonna make other people happy too. So maybe you should be unoptimistic about it.
Mom says that.
Yeah.
So you're stealing.
I say it now too.
I think this movie does a great job illustrating and showcasing all the kids' insecurities with their dream sequences in the first act. At the top of the movie with Sunny Side of Summer, we get to understand that Tina wants Jimmy Jr. to be her boyfriend over the summer. That Gene can't wait to show everyone his new annoying instrument because he's positive everyone will love it. And that Louise is feeling a little subconscious about her ears. And with these dream sequences, they're kind of pushing the kids in a direction to really reconsider their goals and feelings. What if Jimmy Jr. isn't summer boyfriend material and Tina wastes her summer? What if everybody hates this dumbass instrument Gene made?
That shit is fucking trash, dog. Get the fuck off the airwaves.
What?
What if... Hey, what's the little girl name? You said Chloe? Oh, okay, okay. What if what Chloe said is true and Louise really is a baby that depends on her rabbit ears for some kind of artificial confidence? Louise's bunny ears have always been around throughout the entire show, obviously, since they're a critical part of her character design. She has like a double D from Ed, Edd n Eddy or number 5 from Kids Next Door thing going on, where she just rarely takes it off and nobody's ever seen her without it, which I was always jealous of. I always wanted to be the kid known for never taking off his hat, but all the teachers in school used to make me take off my Yankee fitted. Deadass B, facts, word is born.
Because it was the first day of preschool, and I guess I was scared or something, and my mom made them, and they gave them to me so I would be brave.
So what I'm hearing is your head has not grown since preschool.
Louise's account of how she remembers getting her ears does nothing but amplify her insecurities about being small and not brave. To her, they're a symbol of that, and since she can't really break free from them, it scares her that this might be a permanent piece of her personality. We spend the whole movie watching her ignore and navigate this fear until her parents completely recontextualize the story in this really beautiful scene. Louise was gifted her ears after her first day of school because she was so brave. And in the first time we've ever seen Bob's mom, we learn that it's really in memory of her and this little pink hat that she used to wear all the time. We not only learn something really sweet about Bob, but Louise learns that she's always been who she's been trying to be throughout this whole movie, and she does it effortlessly.
You remind me of my mom, Louise. And with the hat, it's kind of like you two have met. I keep forgetting that you never did.
Hey, Buford, are you sweating out of your eyes?
No, I'm just crying!
In my original video, I said something about Jean's arc not feeling as complete as everyone else's in this movie. So I might as well go into detail about that since I don't have to worry about spoilers this time. Spoiler alert for everything in this video, by the way, in case you ain't know.
Ooh, sorry.
Louise's arc is that driving force is one of the main reasons why she goes so hard to solve Cotton Candy Dan's murder. And with Tina's arc, it might not be as present in terms of pushing the plot forward, but we see that little barrette necklace that she was gonna give Jimmy Jr. as she carries it around with her the whole movie. We see fantasy Jimmy Jr. throughout the whole movie, reminding us of what she's going through.
You're thinking about me. You're thinking about this. Boom, 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 boom.
Holy crap.
But comparatively, everything around Jean's arc just kind of feels like throwaway dialogue.
See you soon, Shelly. We're gonna rock so hard. A lot of confidence here, despite what some robots may say.
What?
Nothing.
That shit is fucking trash, dog.
They do such a clear job with everyone else. Louise and Tina both have clear visual aids illustrating how they feel and what they're going through. But Jean has none of that. He doesn't even have his little napkin instrument thing with him for most of the movie. So how could they have fixed it? I don't know, nigga, that ain't my job. I really love that Louise uses the last moments of the story to give Bosco that win of having him finally beat the homicide guys. Throughout the whole movie, Sergeant Bosco gets so much shit from the homicide division of the police department.
Hey, get out of here. Get out of here. Go.
All right, kids.
Nigga soft. It's played for laughs, definitely. The kids even use this insecurity to get information out of him in the second act, but that's really it. It's really small, just a background thing that I feel like most cartoons would ignore or not directly give closure to, but they used it to tie like a really neat bow on top of the story. That's the kind of touch that's really hard to explain, but it's like baked into the DNA of this cartoon. Every episode and story is just filled with these tiny little wins for every character, no matter how small their role is in the story.
Hi there. First on the scene, no biggie. I beat you. And you. I beat you too.
The Bob's Burgers movie is just another one of those where it's just like, what do you even want me to say, bruh? Damn. I definitely wouldn't be where I am creatively if this thing didn't come out and rearrange my perspective on so much. But it's not every day that you go into a movie theater and come out of it determined to make something that makes somebody else feel exactly how you felt. And how could you possibly beat that?
Anyway, please donate to my pilot.
What would you do if the thing you loved most was suddenly taken away?
Oh, the TV! It's gone!
We must find our TV.
On a search for their prized possession. A top secret weapon has fallen into their hands.
Cool.
Now,
I am Cornelius.
everyone wants them.
Hey, baby.
You got 2 seconds.
Is that gonna be enough time?
Beavis and Butthead to America.
He's gonna roll. Oh, that's nice.
Rated PG-13.
Hey, Daria in this shit? Aw, look. Y'all got y'all video after all. Beavis and Butthead was a very popular 90s MTV cartoon, a modestly successful 2000s cartoon, and a 2020s cartoon that I swear I always forget is around. It's about 2 teenage assholes that basically just stand around doing this. I must confess, Beavis and Butthead is the show that I know the least about and have seen the least of out of everything, not only in this video, but all the videos in this little cartoon collection series, which is what I've been calling these. I know a lot of characters, seen a few short episodes, definitely get the humor and find it funny, but I never really applied myself to actually fully engage with it.
This sucks more than anything that has ever sucked before.
Nice. Need that. Beavis and Butthead Do America from 1996, 1 year before I popped out the pussy. I love that this movie starts out just kind of like an average episode, or at least my understanding of one. Like I said, I've only seen like 5 of them shit. A simple situation: Beavis and Butthead wake up to find that their TV was stolen and bumble around trying to find a new one so they could watch some Tumorific Tariq. It's honestly just a guess, I don't know. This is what my audience looks like to me.
Damn it! I can't sleep without a TV.
Dumbass.
They run into a bunch of side characters, everybody that you'd want to see as a fan of this show and these characters.
You two look kind of familiar. Ain't you them kids that have been whacking off in my tool shed?
Huh? Is that what Beavis and Butthead is about? What the fuck? And then thing after thing after thing happens until you look up and these niggas have an entire action movie happening around them. Even down to Bruce Willis playing one of the characters. These niggas go from teenagers who just got robbed to the most dangerous men in America before the damn 30-minute mark. I swear, this thing is a circus. Watching the narrative unfold, the constant misunderstandings and miscommunications, that's what really makes this movie a really fun time.
I'm mostly gonna be doing the slots.
Yeah, I'm hoping to do some sluts too. Yeah.
They bumble around town for a little bit looking for a TV, but end up at a motel where a guy confuses them for 2 other guys that he's been trying to hire to fly out to Vegas and shoot his wife. But he says it in like the 90s way, right? He's like, oh, do my wife or whatever. So like, they think he means sex.
Actually, we just want to watch TV.
Shut up, Beavis. Yeah. We'll do your wife.
No, I want to watch TV.
It'd be like that. Put Family Guy on. They get to Vegas, find Shorty completely by accident. She waves the gun in their fucking face, and they're still oblivious to what's going on.
10 grand? Oh, that cheap ass. I'll double it. I'll pay you 20 if you go back there and do him.
You want us to do a guy?
So then she puts them on a bus to Washington with some kind of disease in Beavis's pocket that could just blow if it's hit the right way. Like me. And then it's like, I don't know, man. A bunch of shit happens after that. There's like this cool Rob Zombie sequence in the desert. These niggas like meet their fathers, I guess.
You scored with 2 chicks?
Yeah. They were sluts. Shut up, dumbass.
Let me be the first to tell you, every punch in this movie is loud as fuck. These niggas open up the Hoover Dam.
Look, R.I.P. Yeah, R.I.P. Yeah.
They cause 2 major pileups on the highway. Beavis running around with the damn COVID-19 seasoning pack in his back pocket, and these boys make it out of every situation with little to no scratches and no knowledge of the situation that they're in. And when some situations are just too straightforward for them to be oblivious, how little they care about what's going on is just as hilarious.
Whoa. This rules. Can I have a gun too?
Any last words before I kill you?
I have a couple. Butt cheeks.
Yeah. And boobs. Yeah. I just want to say that again.
This FBI dude, he has like the sickest running gag throughout this whole movie. He will give a nigga a cavity search in a minute. He giving them shits out like Oprah.
I want that camper torn apart. Full cavity searches all around. National security is a responsibility of every American. Bork?
Cavity search?
Deep and hard.
Not on him, Chief.
Agent Hurley, I want you to give this scumbag a cavity search. I'm talking Roto-Rooter. Don't stop till you reach the back of his teeth.
The back of his teeth? What the fuck? I don't know, man. I might not have grown up with this show or these characters, but this is my type of humor. These two little dickheads just stand there and mumble for an hour and a half, and it legitimately cracks my shit up.
That was cool.
No, it wasn't.
Oh yeah.
They have no self-awareness, no grasp of how people feel about them, no respect.
Hey, Beavis, we're on a bus with chicks. Hey, baby.
I did not walk away from this movie feeling like I know and understand new things about these characters, but like, I mean, whatever. I laughed a bunch, so who cares?
Boy, it sure is hard to score.
True.
Man, score is like my favorite piece of 90s slang. Why don't y'all just bring stuff like that back instead of another one of them damn cartoons? This is the only movie in this video to be cell animated, which is a shame, but it really makes this thing feel like one of a kind. It doesn't really do anything to enhance the animation all too much. It's not like Simpsons or Bob's. The characters aren't really moving more fluently than usual or anything like that. A lot of it is just like the show, but at the same time, the style is so specific that it still genuinely feels like a movie. All the characters still do the jitter when they speak. There's a lot of standing around, but the movie never really feels like it's slowing down or it's held back by its animation. They do a lot of interesting stuff still though. This part at the top with them as giants is cool. That little CG shot where they're dancing in Vegas is iconic. I ain't do no editing on this video yet, but I already know I'm finna abuse that in the B-roll. Yeah, I don't know, I'm sorry this section isn't longer, but I think the most I can say about Beavis and Butthead Do America is that it's really, really funny, and there's only so many ways you can say that without repeating yourself. It doesn't try to explore the characters in new ways. It doesn't try to tell a story where you're supposed to be attached or invested in these two emotionally, and honestly, this wouldn't work nearly as much if they tried to do any of that kind of stuff here. This one always stood out when I looked at the landscape of TV cartoon to theater jumps. It's such a simple approach that ends up working relentlessly well. It's the exact kind of movie that makes me want to go back to the original cartoon and fill in all the gaps I missed. I won't though. I got like 3 more movies to watch after this. Let's act like I did. Whatever your favorite episode is, imagine I watched that shit like 5 times.
I just need to stop by his tool shed for a couple minutes. You know what I'm saying?
From the first assistant director of the 2nd unit of Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth, and the production assistant of the video, Know Your Fryer, comes the adventure of a lifetime. An animated epic featuring 3 all-new backgrounds and 5 characters.
Did you see that chicken guy running around?
And this chicken.
That guy was weird.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force: the movie film for theaters.
Imagine a nigga trying to squeeze some analysis out of Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Well, you don't gotta imagine it any longer because here it fucking comes.
Open your mouth, baby. Here it comes.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force: movie film for theaters. When I told my grandma the title of this movie back then, she said, ew. Second movie in this video to take place in New Jersey. That's right, we got 2 on the board. Fuck your mother.
I'm just joking. I wasn't raised that way. I'm sure she's nice.
If you don't know what Aqua Teen Hunger Force is, I don't really know if I can help you, dude. Not in a I never watched it way. I used to watch this shit all the time, but like, how do you even explain it, son? A box of fries, a wad of meat, and a milkshake just hang out in South Jersey and shit happens. It costed like $2 to make, and it was really popular, ran for over 10 years, and they got a movie in 2007 that they spent $3 on.
Very cool.
Okay. So like, I think Shake wants to fix this exercise machine that he stole from Carl, and when Frylock puts it together, it's like missing a motherboard piece. So they go out to look for it, but like these aliens and this robot go looking too because the exercise machine isn't really an exercise machine. It's like a robot, and it like has like Carl now, and it'll destroy the town or something. I have no fucking idea. I swear, I just watched this shit like 10 minutes ago. I just knew that I was gonna be lost watching this thing, and it just did not disappoint. I still have some context, but I also feel like I don't have enough. I haven't seen this cartoon in maybe 5 years. My brain probably replaced all of that knowledge with Family Guy episode titles or something.
Dude, I totally van.
Sorry.
Dude, in the notes that I took for this very clip that I just played, I literally wrote robot starts humping orange thing. Like, I know who these characters are. I remember episodes with them in it, but this really is one of those where if you ain't watched Aqua Teen last week, good fucking luck, because it's just gonna feel like one giant inside joke that was told when you left the room to go take a piss.
And it didn't take us long to freak out all of Africa.
Hi, how you doing?
Hey, whoa, wait, no, we're here to help you. Come on, don't run.
Come on, son, did y'all hear the clicking? I fucking hate it here, man. Fuck. There's a gag about half an hour into the movie. Frylock is looking at an old picture of Dr. Weird and Shake smacks it out of his hand. And they keep talking, but a few seconds later, there's a little explosion in the corner of the screen. Now, I've seen enough and remember enough Aqua Teen to know that this is a normal running thing that happens in that show. Things fall into the ground and immediately exploding right after. And I think there being a slight delay here is the joke. And that's funny to me as somebody who has this context, but I could see it just being like a random explosion to someone who doesn't. And that's what most of this movie feels like. They don't reestablish anything. They don't reintroduce this world in any way. This thing plays like you just got home, high as hell with Taco Bell in your hand and turned Adult Swim on. Which is pretty much what Aqua Teen is. Not sure if that's what movies are supposed to be, but that's what Aqua Teen is. And sure, whatever. You can dock all the points that you want because it isn't structured like a movie is supposed to be. But hey, just slow your roll there, Siskel and Ebert. It ain't that deep. Aqua Teen is barely structured like an actual television show. What makes you think that this would be so different? You ain't getting no pussy for complaining that Master Shake doesn't have a complete character arc. I might, but you not. Just like the cartoon, you never really feel like these characters are in any actual danger or something really bad is gonna happen to them. These are the most expandable characters I've ever seen in all my days. Carl catches on fire like 10 minutes in, then his body is just like ripped off in the third act, and we just never fucking see this nigga again.
Oh, Carl.
Hey, thank God. Unchain me.
Where'd you get that lollipop?
Shake just shoots the shit out Meatwad.
Look, R.I.P. Yeah, R.I.P. Yeah.
One of the runners in this movie that's always funny is Meatwad trying to figure out how to get women. It goes absolutely nowhere, but every time it comes up, it's hilarious.
You think that women are attracted to me? No! Fuck!
Hey, so like, they do this random gag around the end of the second act about Frylock being a woman, like it just kind of slips out.
It's just as I suspected. I'm female. It's female.
You're what?
I mean, the Insanoflex is a female.
So please forgive me for not taking something in this stupid ass cartoon seriously, but I genuinely thought that this was just some random line. But then they find out. Okay, let me back up. They spent like half the movie believing that Dr. Weird, that guy from the top of every episode of the cartoon, was actually their daddy. But then around the end, they find out that Frylock is his daddy and suppressed the memory because he was like a shitty father. Look, that's not why I explained all this. I really just wanted to show y'all this.
Daddy, you've grown into a beautiful young woman.
Yeah, thanks. Let's keep that on the down low.
But how did...
Trapped in a man's body.
But you was...
I'm a lesbian.
Yeah, but still, I mean...
On Oprah.
Yeah, but the,
Plastic, novelty, vagina.
This lore is 18 years old, and I didn't know anything about it until 10 minutes ago. Niggas can at me every fucking day talking about the chipmunks going on sale as if I don't got fucking $10 in my bank account. But 18 years done passed, and nobody told me I was misgendering Frylock this whole time. I see how it is.
Yes, Frylock, I am your mother. And I am a 9-layer bean burrito.
Oh. Well, that's neat.
Done.
Watching this movie made me realize only 2 movies in this video do the whole theatrical version of the theme song thing, which is normally a real treat with these kind of movies. I do really like this one though. The theatrical version of the Aqua Teen theme song goes so fucking silly. I don't care how many times I've heard it. Alright, that's enough of that. Rent due next week. I usually hate this kind of critique when it comes to movies like this, but this is not beating those long episode allegations. Definitely not in terms of animation. Aside from a few random moments here and there where it looks like they created some new assets, this thing looks identical to the cartoon. But I mean, if you were ever gonna do that, Aqua Teen is probably the show for it. It's animated in such a cheap yet specific way that when it came back a few years ago and like it was like actually animated, the shit like confused everybody. It's the only time I saw making something look better pissing everybody off. Sometimes this thing looks cool, sometimes it looks like it's being held together with duct tape. It really just depends on when you decide to look up from your phone. Meatwad keeps doing this fist thing that looks like somebody drew it on MS Paint. Look at this fight scene, bruh. Don't ever act like you can't make your own cartoons in the house. This shit look like a Pivot animation. It doesn't. I just wanted to bring up Pivot. I'm not even one to point out animation errors, but like 9 minutes into the movie, seeing the top of Lincoln's hat just like cut off tells me everything I needed to know about how this movie was made.
Oh great, you just had to shoot, didn't you? Way to change the future.
What do you mean?
Pull, Whitey, pull!
Happy Black History Month, y'all. There's a couple references throughout this thing to other Adult Swim, Cartoon Network media. The sickest one is, without a doubt, when Meatwad launches those missiles.
We have a missile. I am smelling a missile. Nah, there's no way. Greetings, I'm...
Oh no! Space Ghost!
No, Space Ghost.
Space Ghost was watching 12 Ounce Mouse. Meatwad was watching that Perfect Hair Forever show. This must be what it feels like for y'all when one of my friends shows up in these videos.
Wait. Go back to the other part. Where you were saying you were a woman?
Aqua Teen Hunger Force: movie film for theaters is for exactly who it's for. This gotta be what Tupac meant when he dropped Strictly for My Niggas, because golly, if you have never seen a single episode of Aqua Teen Hunger Force before, I cannot stress this enough. Do not watch this shit. You will be lost, confused, bored. I just cannot see this being entertaining for somebody that didn't grow up around this show's peak popularity. I know I had a lot of fun with it and laughed a bunch, but that's from 25 years of knowing exactly what Aqua Teen is and being able to walk in knowing exactly what to expect and how much of it. But if you love these characters, you know them, and you find their banter funny, you'll probably have a good time, dude. I can't really think of any reason why you wouldn't. Aside from maybe like, I don't know, being sober.
It's the end of the movie and it's getting late. I know that you didn't come here with a date. You'll probably go home and masturbate.
Yeah, how the fuck you know this? How? Hold on, bro. How?
Did he say the S word?
Did you just say the Q word?
Did you just say the F word?
It's not just another day in the park. South Park. Bigger, longer, and uncut.
Good job, fat boy. Now shut up.
Rated R. Now play. Only in theaters.
1999's South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. Originally titled South Park All Hell Breaks Loose, but they decided to name it after a dick instead. I guess an erect one because, you know, bigger. My man Johnny Tuchellos did a video not too long ago on the production of this movie and what it took to put it together. I really suggest watching that if you like videos that are better than this one. Stan, Kyle, Kenny, and Cartman pull up to see the Terrence and Phillip movie, a musical theatrical adaptation of their favorite show, and they start to imitate all of the foul language that they hear in it. Like fuck, or shit, or like uncle fucker. Kenny dies imitating something that the kids saw in the movie. Kyle's mom, Sheila, crashes the fuck out over this. She goes from getting shirts with the characters on them banned from school to starting arguments on the news. Next thing you know, there is a full-blown war over a Canadian movie where they say the word fuck.
I mean war, man. Wow. War. You know? Wow.
All the best lines in this thing come from the section where they're getting ready for the war. This shit is jokes.
Oh boy, I can't wait for our first shore leave so I can get me some fucking poontang.
Yes, soldier. Have you ever heard of the Emancipation Proclamation? I don't listen to hip-hop. Oh, what's wrong with this thing? It's fucking Windows 98. Get Bill Gates in here. You told us Windows 98 would be faster and more efficient with better access to the internet.
It is faster, over 5 million.
Hey, so like, quick story. I've written every single one of these videos on a default Windows app called WordPad. It's basically like Microsoft Word in like the simplest form for people who weren't bougie enough to pay for Microsoft Word or clever enough to just steal it. But in the middle of making this video, I updated my computer, and apparently after all these years, they just decided to fucking delete it. So, while I'm not saying I condone this, I am saying I understand it.
Did you bring the mirror? Got it. And the rope? Check. And the butt for? What's a butt for? For pooping, silly.
Ha, I love this little nigga. That's true, bro. I never thought of it like that. I always kind of saw this movie as like a prequel to the cartoon. In the pilot, they very clearly know how to curse. They're like calling each other's dildo and shit. But here, them seeing ashes of fire is portrayed as them being introduced to this kind of language at the same time. And the resolution of this being that Cartman's cursing essentially saves the world provides decent enough context for why you don't hear too many adults in the cartoon telling them to watch their mouths.
See, Mom? After all that, it was Cartman's filthy fucking mouth that saved us all.
Shit, I wish I would talk to my mother like that, nigga. I'll be recording this shit from the ICU. This movie is a more traditional musical than something like the Bob's Burgers movie. The music is honestly the most iconic part of this thing. You can really tell just how much they focused on this film's structure and how every song is major to the beats in the story. The first song, Mountain Town, covers so much ground. Kenny's mom tells him that he's going to die and go to hell for skipping church to see the movie, which literally happens. In this big optimistic song, Sheila is the only one with an inherently negative verse about how kids need to be protected from the rest of this dangerous world. Even something as simple as her yelling at Kyle to do what she says, it all helps paint the picture of the kind of person that she's going to be for the rest of this movie. A bitch. There's even a damn song about how big of a bitch Kyle's mom is. I didn't just freestyle a bar where I called it at. Near the end of this one, Cartman goes through all these different countries singing the song in different languages that I'm pretty sure are just nonsense noises. Me and the homies saw this in the movies last year on a re-release. The theater we were in was so scared to laugh at blackface Cartman. You fucking cowards. You paid to see South Park, not Bluey, nigga. If you don't bust a gut, happy Black History Month, yo. All of the songs crank. I don't think there's a single miss or a single one that I don't know by heart. Up there, La Resistance, What Would Brian Boitano Do? The roster is as strong as a damn ox. This part of Blame Canada, though, the song that the moms sing, always stood out to me.
Should we blame the matches? Should we blame the fire? Or the doctors who allowed it to expire? Heck no!
Like, yes, nigga, blame the doctors. Fuck. Why did he not take the fucking potato out the microwave? I've never understood that.
Damn it! It never gets any easier!
Don't blame me for my son Stan. He saw the darn cartoon and now he's off to join the Klan.
The Klan? Nigga was watching Mr. Bertram. I brought her up a second ago, but Sheila's priorities are way off. This is one of the craziest crash outs ever documented. This was clear pretty much for the whole movie, but she loses the plot so much in this, it's like Hall of Fame levels.
Horrific, deplorable violence is okay, as long as people don't say any naughty words. That is what this war is all about. What?
How is this war supposed to be about the safety of children, yet you blick your son's favorite TV stars directly in front of him? This like if my mom caught me saying fuck, so she shot Keenan and Kel. Hang on. It's okay. False alarm. It's just Cousin Skeeter. Fuck, that's a lot of blood though. Is this nigga not a puppet? The hypocrisy of the adults is on full display throughout this thing. None of them are perfect.
What the heck is a rim job?
Oh, why, that's when you put your legs behind your head and have someone lick your ass.
Hey, anybody got Cartman mama number by any chance? I don't want nothing. I just want to ask her a few questions. You can just smell the meta text on this thing from a mile away. Shows like South Park got blamed so much back in the 90s for their effects on children, despite not being made for children and not even airing on channels that children should be watching on their own. While kids are very likely to imitate something that they see on television in a cartoon that they like, it starts at home. My grandfather always taught me not to imitate everything I heard Peter Griffin say. I mean, I do that now, but that's because I'm almost 30. That's the point the South Park movie is actively trying to make. Blaming outside forces like a fucking cartoon does not fix whatever issues you got going on in your house. It all starts with actual communication.
You go off and blame everybody else, but I'm the one to blame. Deal with me. You keep going off and fighting all these causes, but I don't want to fight her. I want my mom.
Oh, the poor little fella.
When Stan asks his chef how to get a woman to like him, he lets it slip that you gotta find the clitoris. And he just spends the whole movie running around trying to figure this shit out without even knowing what it means.
Any questions? Shelly, where's the clitoris?
You think it doesn't really go anywhere because, like, how could it? Legally? But then this happens.
Oh my god!
Behold my glory!
What are you?
I am the clitoris.
Whoa. Am I like allowed to show this? Advertisers, act like you don't see this. Satan and Saddam Hussein are both major characters in this thing. It's a sentence that I'm sure just gave you whiplash if you've never seen this movie before. It's like this mentally abusive relationship where Saddam is taking advantage of Satan, only using him for like sex and his status. Golly, this shit turned into a hell of a boss real quick. There's this part where Satan is trying to talk to Saddam about their relationship issues, and he's reading this book, but I never noticed that the title says, Saddam is from Mars, Satan is from Venus. Who the fuck wrote this book? I think one of the more interesting takeaways from a movie like this are the pros and cons of producing a movie based on a cartoon at the start of that cartoon's life rather than like the middle or the end. Stuff like Bob, Simpsons, even Aqua Teen have had like literal years to figure these cartoons out. Years to round out that cast, create like a streamlined list of do's and don'ts when animating these characters. And because of it, the movies feel like a celebration of all of those years. But South Park has changed so much in 25, 26 years. It's damn near a different cartoon now. If they were to do it today, characters like Randy or Butters would have way bigger, more important roles instead of just background characters with offhanded lines. But it's also fucked up to think about how if they did this today, we just have a South Park movie that doesn't have a character like Chef in it. The way the characters talk to each other, the animation, even the performances from Matt and Trey, literally every single thing about this would be different. But it's funny because no matter what South Park turned into and how much I love what it became, I don't think I'd change a single frame of this thing.
I farted once on the set of Blue Lagoon.
It's really funny saying this about something that looks the way this does, but this really does feel like the biggest in scale compared to almost everything else in this video. The stakes are really high. Unlike something like Aqua Teen, they really prioritize making you feel those really big moments. The drama is interesting. They still make you feel emotionally for characters like Stan and Kyle. The only expendable character is dead and is treated like a real thing, so it does a really good job of building that suspense. It really makes you fear for everyone's lives. Now in terms of the animation, this is a special case because this movie was only made in the middle of season 2 when they were still trying to figure that style out. So comparatively, if you were looking at episodes from around that time, I'd definitely say that this is a much more bigger, more cinematic version of that. But man, South Park has gotten to the point to where it turned into this really beautiful, surprisingly detailed looking cartoon. There's definitely a charm to this older, flatter style for the show. This animation is still simple enough to where it gives you that feeling of this looks like a really fucked up old Christmas special or something. Way different than what the show is going for today. A good comparison for how much the show evolved is by looking at this one clip of Stan throwing up on Wendy in this movie.
Hi, Stan. Gross.
Now look at it at the end of season 11's The Lit. Couldn't even finish saying the episode title, golly. But even then, that episode is 15 years old now. This is a show where you can clearly see the difference between all eras, visual or not. And I think that's cool as shit. Now, there's some nudity in this thing, so I'm gonna have to censor everything with my face if I want to make enough money for rent this month. And I do.
Saddam, no, I'm trying to have a nice conversation with you.
Everything is super.
Open up your eyes. What are these?
If I keep going on and on about South Park bigger, longer, and uncut, some dumbass TikTok using 19-year-old might comment, telling me that I'm glazing like I won't beat the fuck out of it. It's another one of those that I've lived with for what feels like my entire life. I've seen it from every angle, and somehow every time I throw it on, I have just as much fun as if it was my first time watching it. It's big, it's funny, it's fucking iconic, it's just unforgettable. If they ever make another one of these, I'll be there day one, but I do not envy them because this is a tough act to follow.
This ain't televised, they telling lies, but promise I won't.
This is the worst day of my life.
Worst day of your life so far.
This is about freedom of speech, about censorship.
Ain't you them kids that have been quacking off in my tool shed?
Truth is, Meatwad, I don't know where we came from, but I do know how we're gonna die.
Happy, hopeful, kissy lips.
Oh, please.
I'm gonna do for you what you do for me.
I didn't mean it. You're not a Jew. Yes, I am. Best kiss of my life.
Best kiss of your life so far.
Ever since about April 2021, I've been doing a podcast about adult animation with my friend Johnny Tuccello, called Cartoons That Curse. I feel like I should say this because despite the fact that there is a clip from an episode in every mid-roll, some of y'all just go blind for that part of the video, I guess, as well as seeing that the soundtrack is always in the description. Hey, while I'm still on y'all, what's up with this sea of people that see me and go, huh? So that's what Tariq looks like. So y'all niggas just don't see the profile picture? The first series we talked about in full was Futurama, starting off with the first 4 production seasons, then the movies, then the Comedy Central run, and now we talk about every episode of the new revival weekly as they come out. And while I think our best 2 episodes are these 2 Patreon ones, niggas went grandpa on that Ted 2 one. Talking to Johnny about each episode one by one, even ones that I hadn't seen before, has been really gratifying and has helped me recontextualize the show. One of those recontextualized episodes was Alila of her own. While on the surface it may look like your average standard 4x3 early 2000s Futurama episode, I found out the episode has a very unique to animation message about representation and expectations, all told through Leela herself. So real quick, because I got a flight to catch in a few hours, this is Leela, Futurama, and representation. I don't know where I got this saying the title in the video shit from, but I be killing it. Shit make every video feel like Citizen Kane.
Is his sled. It was his sled from when he was a kid. There, I just saved you 2 long, boobless hours.
Terrific Tariq Lucy's.
I picked up a vibe just for you to smell the fumes of my strawberry perfumes.
The 48th episode of Futurama is a season 3 episode titled A Leela of Her Own, and it's about Leela becoming the first ever female Blurnsball player, which is this mess of an updated version of baseball. It's because she got that mean ass arm.
No batter, no batter. No batter anymore.
Oh, I wonder what the little title card thing for this episode says. I love those.
Kind of funny.
It's when a Planet Express crew were playing a game of Blurnsball with the crew from a new pizza spot that just opened up across the street. That they realized that Leela, when pitching, can only beam people in the head. On account of her not having any depth perception, on account of her having one eye, on account of I don't know, I guess that's all the accounts, whatever. While they can't seem to finish a game with her on the field, the crowd loves her because everybody loves to see somebody get hurt. Come on now. The sleazeball manager of the Mets approaches Leela because of just this. While the Mets allegedly suck at Blurnsball more than Leela does, save your sports takes, bro. I don't even know which one LeBron is. They don't draw nearly as big a crowd as she clearly does, giving people concussions. So he immediately signs her to the team.
Oh, you mean I'd be the first woman ever to play Major League Blurnsball?
And just that happens, Leela becomes the very first female Blurnsball player, becoming a fan favorite, yet still sucks just as much as she did before. If you think that sounds nasty, don't comment on this video, bro. Comment on Jesus, player. Despite being trash because of what she represents, Leela immediately gets offered brand deals and commercials, all types of shit. It's at an autograph signing though that Leela meets Jackie Anderson, voiced by Simpsons Cree Summer, an aspiring Blurnsball player who is not happy at all about how Leela plays the game.
I'm doing it for all the struggling female athletes who need a role model.
Yeah, a role model for how to stink.
What? Who are you?
Your little freak show is making it impossible for real female ball players to be taken seriously. I hope you're proud of yourself.
Oh my god, I'm watching this while I'm writing this video, and I deadass forgot that this makes Leela cry. Aw. Didn't make me cry though, because I'm a fucking man. Leela is fucking destroyed over this, and you really feel her. It's almost like this entire time she felt like her just being there was a service. People would cheer, ask for autographs. They loved her, but now, it's like she's just now finding out that she's being laughed at. While Leela can't possibly be the best Blurns ball player ever because of her already established record, she can damn sure try her hardest not to be the worst, even though they clearly don't want her to.
It's my last chance to prove I'm not the worst player ever. Please put me in.
No! We're actually winning this game! You only go in as a joke when we're 8 runs behind, or when our other pitchers sneak out early to beat the traffic.
She makes it out there and Jackie steps up to the plate on the opposing team. If Leela could get just 1 out, she won't go down as the worst player in the history of the game. She doesn't. She doesn't get the run, man. She doesn't. She flopped so hard, it's like she dropped a Hey Arnold video or something. I think this episode really does have a lot to say and introduces several different questions and ideas that I don't really think I've seen explored as often, definitely not in this way. This is gonna sound like a stretch, but I promise I'm gonna make it all make sense. You know who this reminds me of? Tyler Perry. TP was nowhere near the first black filmmaker when he popped out, but he was definitely one that people knew for a while, besides like Spike. If you knew Melvin Van Peebles, that's cute, but I am obviously not talking about you. TP's film reception has been, yeah. And for as long as I can remember, I've known black people who love his work and love what he's done. I swear, if my country ass uncle tell me that I gotta go contact this nigga one more time, I'm a black. While also knowing black people that think that his films are shit, that they give black cinema a bad name, kinda like Leela with Blurns Ball. Remember how bright and happy Leela was for this opportunity? To be the first woman to play the game, to be a symbol and a role model? I played the clip of her excitement, right? But I purposefully left out this bit that immediately follows it.
Well, yeah, but basically it'd just be a publicity stunt. I figure a one-eyed lady skullbuster might bring out the freak show crowd.
This is kind of what happens in Like Mike, except Buddy was actually good at ball. Leela is clearly being tokenized and used. Her inclusion is not to better the sport. It is to get people that they feel like wouldn't be interested in the sport otherwise to tune in. I don't think I have to tell y'all this, but this is the wrong way to do representation. Not only is Leela being taken advantage of in this instance, but it's clear that her inclusion is only to cash in on the yearn of minorities who desperately want to see themselves represented in new places.
Wow. The first woman ever to play Major League Blurns Ball.
Again, yeah, but basically it'd just be
Yippee!
The excitement is mutual too. You can see just how excited Jackie is to see a woman on the field during Leela's first game.
Come on! Throw like a girl!
Because of this drought of women in the sport, Leela is put in a position to where she has to represent all women. Not white women with purple hair, not mutants, not cyclopses, all women. So if she's not good, that means that all women aren't good. But here's the thing. That's not fair, what the fuck? Tyler Perry should be allowed to make his films the way he wants to, without having to feel like he has to speak for everyone's voice. I personally feel like he should reevaluate the way that he writes some of his black woman characters, but that's besides the point. He was good in Gone Girl. Everybody watched Gone Girl. And Leela should be allowed to suck at Blurns Ball without feeling the weight of every woman in the galaxy on her back. It's unrealistic and it's unfair to expect her to hold it down for everybody.
When I grow up, I want to injure men by throwing stuff at them, just like you, Leela. Will you sign my magazine?
I love the fact that they included something like this, because it shows that women, or any minority in general, are not a monolith. While Jackie is really defensive and harsh to Leela because of what she feels like she's doing to the game and for how women are seen in the game, this little girl admires her and wants to be like her. It's a little undercut by the girl saying that she's gonna sell it on eBay, but whatever, it's funny, it's a comedy cartoon, it's fine. To bring it back to Tyler Perry, I am positive that there are so many black people, aspiring filmmakers or not, that are relentlessly inspired by TP, regardless of how a lot of people see his films. Do we really have the right to mock Tyler Perry in all of his films, when they are very clearly doing something for so many people? Is it his fault that he is one of the only black filmmakers that people can name? And because of that, does he have a duty to make a certain kind of film, just so he doesn't embarrass the people that he's representing? Or should he just get out there, make what he wants to artistically, and produce what's in his heart? Because clearly what he produces inspires and uplifts certain people, even if those people aren't me and you. It's worth noting too that I legitimately think that this was done on purpose, this entire discussion on representation. Like, this isn't just me looking too deeply into the episode. I feel like Futurama deliberately stepped outside of itself to make this point. In the third act of the episode, Leela meets Hank Aaron, one of his descendants, both voiced by Aaron himself. While Hank Aaron wasn't the first black baseball player in the MLB, he was definitely early, and he's considered one of the greatest players of all time.
Oh, right. I bet you're gonna tell me he's colored too.
I think the decision of putting the greatest baseball player of all time up against the worst Blurnsball player of all time was a really conscious one. It's exactly the kind of storytelling that Futurama does. And, well, put bluntly, Futurama rarely ever has any black guest stars, so I believe that they were very strategic on how they used their only ones.
Hey, look! The players who broke the various color barriers.
When will man learn that all races are equally inferior to robots?
If Leela doesn't play Blurnsball and give women a bad name in the sport, would Jackie be able to do it her own way, step up to the plate, and give them a good name? I don't know. But what I do know is that regardless of how you feel about Gone with the Wind and how it portrays black people, you do not get a Viola Davis, Angela Bassett, or Oprah Winfrey without Hattie McDaniel. That's a fact. Even the stuff that we think is bad that's supposed to represent us, maybe we shouldn't be so hard on it. Maybe instead of blaming the face for what they do in their time in the spotlight, we should blame the system that tokenizes them. Maybe instead of attacking, we learn from what mistakes we feel like they made along the way. Lead by the example that we wish we had. Because if there's one thing that I've learned from my years of doing videos, is that you definitely learn more from the mistakes of others than anything else. For better or for worse.
It turns out you were an inspiration after all.
I was?
Uh-huh. You were so awful that women everywhere set out to prove they don't stink as bad as you.
I guess I made a difference after all.
You absolutely did, Leela. Now please, please retire. Immediately.
Hey kid, catch.
Wait, so is the moral of this video be nicer to Tyler Perry? That doesn't sound right.
Looks like it's gonna be a great day today to get some fresh air like a stray on a straightaway.
I know, I'm not usually the type to talk about King of the Hill. My do-rag ain't shady and I damn sure don't got 2 instruments. But I def love this show, for real. Easily in my top 5 animated series. On a good day, you can catch me saying that I like it more than The Simpsons. I think, at least when I was a kid, a lot of us kind of found it boring or whatever, but when you actually know the characters, it's one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen. I've been seeing this thought process my whole life, that King of the Hill is an animated series that doesn't need to be animated, and I've never really liked that because I don't think I've ever really knew what it meant. When does something need to be animated? When does something need to be in live action? Or do you actually need a reason to be animated? Let's talk about it.
What happened to that Boondocks video?
Terrific to read, Lucy's.
Okay, so let's think about some of the reasons why someone would even wonder why King of the Hill is animated, because there's definitely a few interesting points to this argument. I think the more obvious one being the characters' designs. King of the Hill, especially in comparison to his contemporaries, has an extremely realistic art style. Characters have real proportions, body types, facial structures. There's no exaggeration, no bug eyes, no yellow skin. Look at these fucking dogs. Ah, come on, all right, guess which one's racist?
Oh, good doggy! Good doggy!
Come on, man, come on. She don't Big Bernie Mac.
Nasty bitch.
Look at Hank yelling, and look at Homer yelling. One of these is clearly trying to be more like a person. In real life. There's the rules that the show follows as well, right? Aside from wild shit like Bill not dying when a fucking tank explodes, I think you have a pretty hard time finding a bunch of shit that happens in King of the Hill that isn't grounded strictly in reality. The characters don't age often, but they also don't fly. They don't get abducted by aliens. They can't die and come back in the very next scene. King of the Hill spends most of its run making us believe that this takes place in the exact same world that we live in. The rules they follow are really strict. I think too, on the animation side of things, that a lot of this has to do with the staging as well. King of the Hill was, at least from like an outsider looking in, directed like it was a live action sitcom. Aside from some dream sequences or whatever, it really felt like you couldn't do a shot that couldn't be done in real life. life. Every shot in a room looks like it was filmed in an area where you can easily fit a camera into. And I don't think this is the only show that's like this. You can make the same argument for most of As Told by Ginger or Recess or... Oh, don't start, bro. I'ma fuck y'all up. Why are these shows that don't do anything utilizing a medium where you can do everything? Arnold can't have a football-shaped head anymore if it's not a cartoon, but you could do Helga on the Couch shot for shot in live action, to be honest. All you need is a little blonde white girl with a unibrow. So, why draw it? So if King of the Hill isn't animated, you lose Hank. You lose the very specific way that he looks, his demeanor. If it's not animated, you lose the ability to tell a story about Bobby being into late 90s boy bands and Grand Theft Auto in the same series. If it's not animated, you lose the look on Hank's face when he thinks that he lost his friend. You lose the twinkle in Luann's eye when her and Buckley jump up and down on the trampoline one last time. If it's not animated, you lose Pamela Alden as Bobby. You lose Brittany Murphy as Early Joseph. You lose Toby Huss as Khan. You know what? Never mind. Okay, no, maybe that's not a bad thing. All of these things that just bleed out the identity of the show. Just because these characters feel like real people does not mean that they are. And I think King of the Hill 2 has a very specific vibe that you just can't recreate in live action. I think that the way a show is written isn't the only thing that gives it its identity, it's the way that it looks too. The vibe you get from the hand-painted backgrounds in Hey Arnold, the silence, the atmosphere. You can try in live action, but it just won't be the same. And honestly, bruh, like all jokes aside, I know a lot of people don't like the As Told by Ginger designs at first glance, but I promise you, I would not want this show to look any other way. That's a talk point I got from my homie. I think King of the Hill is animated a very specific way. The eyes, the deadpan stares, the quirks in the facial expressions, the staging, the blocking, just Arlen in general. It's all enhanced through the power of the medium. At least I think so. So I guess to answer the question, right, King of the Hill is animated because it can be. And acting as if it needs a reason to be does a very, very clear disservice to what the medium can do. Just because you can make animals talk in animation or make a character's skin yellow or kill off characters and then make them come right back does not mean that you have to. You can do all of that stuff, but you can also not do any of it. I think with a medium like animation, we should encourage the diversity in story and styles that we get. Because that's what's so cool about it. You could do Victorious as a cartoon, but you can't make Ed, Edd and Eddy a live action sitcom. Crunchy ass picture.
Do I look like I know what a JPEG is?
Instead of questioning why is something like Undone animated if all they're gonna do is rotoscope, I think we should just accept that this is the medium that they wanted to go with. Nothing ever needs a reason to be animated. It can have one, but it doesn't need one. I personally think it's great that we live in a world where we can have Lloyd in Space, Gumball, some anime that I don't watch or whatever, and King of the Hill, and they can all be different and they can all be animated. It only shows growth and variety. It shows that the medium can handle any story. Because despite what it looks like they trying to tell y'all, this shit ain't going nowhere. So we might as well use it to stand out. I'll tell you what. Every year, my brain picks one cartoon and one live action show to be obsessed with. And last year, those two were Bob's Burgers and Living Single, which has clearly had no effect on my work at all whatsoever, no way. Definitely didn't create a whole new running joke just with the Living Single intro. That shit don't even sound like me, bro. Bob's Burgers is probably one of my favorite cartoons ever now, and that was after years of just kind of being fine with it. And for this video, I wanted to touch on this little sprinkle of an idea that I've had about the show and its place in the culture over the past year. It may not make sense to all, but nothing I say ever does. That's true. So real quick, this is how Bob's Burgers is subversive and classic. Video title subject to change in case this shit flops or something. Oh, and if you're curious, the year before last, my two were Smart Guy and Family Guy. Had a real guy-ass year that year, you know the vibes.
But at the end of the day, there's only one thing that gets me out of bed in the morning. Same thing that gets me in. I'm talking about dudes.
Terrific reef, Lucy's.
You get it? Get it? Because I referenced Living Single at the top. Ah, you get it, man. Fuck out of here. You get it. Bob's Burgers is a show about a guy named Bob that lives on top of a burger spot that he runs with his family, his wife Linda, and their 3 kids, Tina, Jean, and Louise. The series has direct DNA attached to shows like Home Movies, a show with really wild escalating situations, but all told through this conversational tone. But one of the main things that I hear people point out about Bob's Burgers, even myself, is that it is inherently wholesome in nature. Unless it's a relationship like Bob and Jimmy Pesto, the show goes out of its way to let you know that by the end of the episode, none of these characters hate each other. There's this very strong love and fondness that the characters have for each other. You're never left questioning someone's pure intentions. And I think because of this aspect of the show, the series is not only more subversive in recent years, but its existence enhances every single adult animated show around it, especially the ones on the same block. In 1989, when The Simpsons premiered, it was different for a lot of reasons. It was a successful animated primetime show that hadn't happened since the Flintstones over 20 years before it. And in case any of you historians or whatever want to point out, wait till your father gets home. That's cute. That's very cute. But that show was not successful. But mainly something that was new at the time was that this family was dysfunctional. The dad was stupid. The son called him by his first name. He played pranks. The family argued all the time. They couldn't even go outside without something going wrong. The daughter was sad. Wow. What a subversion. Nigga, I'm sad now. Where's my Emmy? I don't want this. This is already too much pressure. This and stuff like Married with Children on the same network were meant to juxtapose the real family show formula of stuff like Family Matters or Full House. These characters still loved each other, but clearly weren't good at it. But the thing is, when you break the mold like this, you're going to get imitators. And not just imitators, but like escalations, right? You start off with Bart talking back to his mother, but then suddenly you have Stewie trying to kill his. You start off with Homer thinking that he sees aliens, but it's actually his boss. And you suddenly have Cartman getting his ass probed by aliens. But after a while, every show tried really hard to elevate the formula that in itself was based on subversion. Maybe a week ago, something like that, I put out this tweet. And every once in a while, I get a reply saying, "This isn't a trope, you just like healthy relationships." Okay, first of all, fuck off my post. Second, I'd argue that our new norm is unhealthy relationships, or at least complicated ones. It's very rare to find a couple that doesn't argue, where their love is one of the main things that you constantly come back to the show for. It's so rare now that personally I'd call that a trope. But I think this same logic can be applied here. I always felt like part of the original point of running gags like making fun of Meg, for example, is the very absurd idea of someone actually treating their daughter like this on a TV show. Sitcoms had characters that loved their daughters, lifted them up, boosted their confidence. And the joke is that here's a family that does the opposite. TV dads sit down and talk to their son through their frustrations, help them, guide them. Well, here's one that gets so upset that he cartoonishly strangles him. TV dads provide wisdom and affirm leadership to their families. And here's one that's so stupid, you wonder how he even made it out of bed this morning. But the thing is that it was cute when The Simpsons did it, or Family Guy did it, or South Park did it. Because it was still new, it was still subversive. It was still building on that idea of how far can we push this. But as the years go on and more cynical adult animated shows are made, this idea is no longer subversive, it's the norm. This is not a play on what a TV family is anymore. This is just what an adult animated family is, period. The dysfunction means nothing when there's no examples of what the function even is anymore. And I think that's where a show like Bob's comes in and is important. It helps maintain that contrast. They're wacky and over the top, but I wouldn't call them dysfunctional. Dysfunction means deviating from the norms of social behavior in a way regarded as bad. Just last week, Linda spent her Mother's Day massage helping Louise out with a class project. Any nigga regarding that as bad has a lot of trauma that they have to work through to get through that, buddy. By being wholesome is not only subverting what we're used to by this point, but also makes everything around it funnier through proxy. Think about it for a second. Is a mean, cynical, and nasty episode of Rick and Morty funnier to watch after an also mean, cynical, and nasty episode of Family Guy? Or is it funnier to see this hateful little interdimensional cartoon after having your heart warmed by burger people? Even if your answers vary, I do think that most people can understand what I'm trying to get at here. And I want to be totally fair, I think the playing field has definitely kind of leveled in recent years. Family Guy hasn't allowed the family to make fun of Meg in years. And Homer in the current season of The Simpsons might be one of the sweetest male characters I've ever seen in an adult animated show. So while everything isn't as drastic as it was, I'll say 5 years ago, ago. I do think that this is an interesting concept regardless. Shows like Great North, Central Park, Bless the Hearts, these wholesome ass shows are some of the only things making their peers that clearly outnumber them stand out. I think we need to push for more shows like this, not only because the world would be so much better if there was more loving media to consume, but also to help reestablish that balance. We're always talking about balancing different art styles or balancing comedy cartoons and action cartoons, all really important stuff as well, totally. But I think we need more of a balance in tone and attitude in the soul of these cartoons, because maybe, just maybe, I don't want my fucking characters to hate each other all the damn time. Bob's Burgers is subversive because it dares to bring back an old norm. To have a dad who cares, who listens, who spends time with his kids and cares about their emotions. To have siblings who love each other and look out for each other, whose main function isn't to argue with each other or be neglected. To have a loving mother who isn't overly sexualized half the time. Even though, them shits is alright. To have a family that loves each other no matter what. Well, a family that makes burgers, they definitely don't have any beef. You love it, you love it. Fuck out of here, you love it. Don't act like you don't love it. In 2006, South Park did a famous two-part episode titled Cartoon Wars. While it was a big thing at the time that Trey and Matt, the show's creators, were pushing really hard to show the image of Muhammad uncensored, as time goes on, this one would more be remembered as that time South Park said that they hated Family Guy. I have thought about these episodes a lot over the years. It's no secret, I clearly do not hide it, but I am a big fan of Family Guy, especially in childhood and in recent years. But I guess I don't say enough that I'm also a big South Park fan too, which is a show that I started watching around the exact same time as Family Guy. I like to think that we as a culture have moved on, but nah man, this is a nasty beef. And I feel like anytime these episodes are brought up, someone takes a side because they feel like the other show hasn't been funny in years. And it's to the point where I get comments on my Family Guy videos from Family Guy fans talking about how annoying South Park fans are, and I ain't even fucking mentioned South Park in the damn video. Even right now, the very day I'm writing and recording this, the description for South Park on HBO Max is making you laugh so you don't cry since '98. Laugh and cry?
Laugh and cry.
Who the fuck cooked this up? Old ass, historically inaccurate beef. But I love both, I still love both. And I wanted to explore that. Do South Park and Family Guy hate each other? Are South Park's criticisms valid? Do other adult animated series have this kind of smoke for one another? Why is my man Bob in the thumbnail? Will I answer any of these questions? Yeah, I got you. After the intro and ad read.
Lucy's.
In this episode of South Park, Family Guy is going to air an episode where Peter interacts with the Muslim prophet Muhammad, and there's a massive panic with threats of attacks because of it. Cartman uses this as an opportunity to get Family Guy off the air.
How would you feel, Cal, if there was a cartoon on television that made fun of Jews all the time, huh?
And Kyle tries to stop him because he likes Family Guy. Cartman pulls up on the Family Guy writers only to find out that they're manatees, plucking from a tank full of balls with random phrases that they push into a pod and they become source for a cutaway gag. The idea being that Family Guy's writing is so random and nonsensical that it could be done just by picking random words and creating a situation with said words. The mouthpiece for Matt and Trey's thought process is definitely Cartman throughout this thing. He's the only character that just doesn't like the show at all.
Everywhere I go. Hey, Cartman, you must like Family Guy, right? Hey, your sense of humor reminds me of Family Guy, Cartman. When I make jokes, they are inherent to a story. Deep, situational, and emotional jokes based on what is relevant and has a point. not just one random interchangeable joke after another.
I'd imagine Matt and Trey too are really tired of their shows being compared, which I can understand. Over the years, I have been compared to every black dude under the sun that makes cartoon videos, and it's annoying, not because I think that I'm better, but it's because we're nothing alike. We do two different things. But people see the surface level and throw these comparisons at you. I just can't imagine that feels great, hearing that about something that you do not enjoy. It's almost like, how could you possibly see me in this? But I also think the most interesting layer about these two episodes that nobody really ever seems to bring up is that the manatees aren't just the Family Guy staff, they're Matt and Trey. Like, yes, the very idea of randomized ideas with no context, that is exclusively a comment on Family Guy. But listen to this.
Manatees are very ethical writers. Either everything's okay to write about or nothing is.
This is not Family Guy, not as often as it is South Park, not by a long shot. South Park has been in this exact situation, trying to show Muhammad and getting told that they can't, fighting for what they believe is their right. It literally happened with this episode, just for it to happen again years later. Like, this is their situation. The whole show has been them believing this very idea. So not only are they sick of the comparison, but they made it themselves.
We do hate it. We do hate Family Guy. We just don't respect it in terms of writing. We always try to avoid, there's one thing we always try to avoid in South Park is gags. We hate gags. And so whenever we're bringing in new writers, we always know the gaggy writers, right? Which are the ones that no matter what you're talking about and how deep of an issue or whatever character arc or whatever it is, they're just throwing out a gag. And it's just like, yeah, and then he says this. And it's like, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. That has nothing to do with that character. You're just throwing out a gag randomly. And it seems like Family Guy is basically just gags.
I think what really frustrates me about this sometimes, it kind of reminds me of this one part in Eddie Murphy Raw. Eddie recounts getting a call from Bill Cosby, blacking on him for cursing so much in his show.
Like, I just walked out on the stage and cursed and left. And I managed to stick in some jokes between the curses. You couldn't give no curse show or walk out and say, hey, felt firm, motherfucker, dick, pussy, snot, and shit. Good night.
That's exactly how this kind of stuff makes me feel when it's brought up about Family Guy. Shit like this makes it seem like the theme song plays, they do a bunch of cutaway gags, a slow zoom out, and boom, credits. But they don't, bruh. These characters do have identities, they do have lives and personalities. There are jokes based on the story. Okay, so let's hypothetically say that the average Family Guy episode has roughly about 8 cutaway gags, right? Normally around or under 45 seconds to a minute. There's some longer, there's some shorter. Some episodes have more cutaway gags, some episodes have increasingly less, some have none at all. So I won't even try to make this super accurate. But in this case, if there's 8 cutaway gags running at a minute each, and there's 22 minutes in a Family Guy episode, what the fuck does everyone think happens in the remaining 14 minutes?
Good, Kyle. That's good anger you're showing there. You see that? That's emotional character development based on what's happening in the storyline. Not at all like Family Guy.
Like, this isn't even true, bruh. I think an interesting parallel that not too many people make about this is that this is almost beat for beat Family Guy's relationship with Bob's Burgers over the past 10 years. Family Guy for years has done Bob's Burgers literally the exact same way. Take a show with a new style, get really frustrated that it's getting so much popularity and love for something that you feel is low effort, and just rail on it while it's just minding its business. But to South Park's credit, they only did it once.
Bob's Burgers is on. This show speaks to us young people, apparently.
That show, and I mean no disrespect when I say this, but that show looks like it was animated in a moving car.
In fact, just yesterday, he tried to pass this drawing off as his advanced art project.
Oh, my.
I'm very embarrassed.
Well, someone should be.
The logo was stupid. It looked like a big purple penis, and your ratings blew.
We did about the same as Bob's Burgers.
That's your bar? Oh, shame on you.
Thanks for coming, cast of Bob's Burgers. But hey, you have the floor if there's something hilarious you want to say. I'll just sit here and be quiet. Give us 2 Emmys worth of amazing. Girl in the bunny ears? Boy, I love it when characters are expressed by props.
I kind of feel like this is less of a crossover and more of a roast.
No, a roast is good-natured.
Bob's Burgers is the most unbothered cartoon I have ever seen in my entire life, like no bullshit. Never have you ever witnessed a show that stays in its lane and minds its own business more. Bob's was also a hyperfixation of mine for almost a year, starting with the movie. And it wasn't until a few weeks ago that I stopped watching it every night before I went to bed. So as a fan of both of these cartoons, I'd probably laugh at these gags, but I'd also feel like it wasn't really fair to blame a show for being popular. These people just showed up to work and do the best that they can, exactly like Family Guy. How are you mad that I'm getting the bag. Somewhere around season 18, we started to see a somewhat nicer version of Family Guy. It's still the same show, but a lot of gags are a bit warmer. They crack on themselves a lot. It goes back to a lot of the stupid, silly humor that people really love the show for. And I think it's reflected in their latest joke about Bob's Burgers. In this currently airing season 21, this happens.
Why are there two sets of prices?
One's the Emmy winner discount.
Black coffee and toast, please.
The only other one of its peers that Family Guy's joked about like this was the Cleveland Show. And honestly, that's expected. A meta-ass show like Family Guy gets a spinoff that doesn't last nearly as long. It'd be worrying if they didn't blitz them every once in a while. People were really upset with this joke for some reason.
Normal words, but a horse guy.
I still don't get it. BoJack is my favorite cartoon of all time. And like, what's wrong with this gag? Is BoJack not normal words but a horse guy? These sound like normal words to me. Like, fuck. Holy shit. Seth MacFarlane himself called The Simpsons and Family Guy's rivalry as kind of playful. They poke fun at each other. Just for the fuck of it, I rewatched South Park's Simpsons Already Did It from season 6, just to see if there was any smoke there too, because I honestly couldn't remember. Butters keeps coming up with ideas that were done on The Simpsons. On account of them being on so long, it's hard to come up with things that they didn't do. Which I think is funny that they wrote this in the middle of The Simpsons' 13th season, and in current day, they're wrapping up season 34.
I've watched all 132 episodes of The Simpsons.
So if they did everything 20 years ago, we're in fucking trouble.
God damn it, how come every time I think of something clever, The Simpsons already did it?
He comes up with plots from Who Shot Mr. Burns, The Telltale Head, Marge versus the Monorail, Lisa the Skeptic, a whole bunch. But there's no smoke. Ultimately, it's about how just because someone came up with an idea that you came up with doesn't change the fact that whatever your execution is will be what's different.
This happens on a daily basis with us, and it just happened in the writer's room a few minutes ago where we come up with an idea and somebody says Simpsons did that. Yeah. They've just done everything, and they've done everything well for the most part, which is really equally infuriating. They really should step aside and let some other people tell some fucking stories.
I don't think they heard you, bro. So bringing it all the way back around, right? Do I think that South Park is partially responsible for how people view Family Guy even to this day? Absolutely. Critiques of whatever Family Guy was at that time didn't really go past angry parents or controversies in the news, which South Park is no stranger to either. And sure, their peers have done like a quick jab here and there, but nothing this extreme. Nothing that literally dissects and criticizes the way the show was written. And I think back then a lot of younger viewers, including myself, hopped on South Park's side and started to hate Family Guy while hyping up South Park as the smarter show. While hyping up South Park as the smarter show. While hyping up South Park. I think Family Guy also wears the responsibility of how people see it. Oh, duh. This isn't even like a Family Guy is the victim type video. The show, especially in those post-revival seasons, is really rude. It's mean. The characters hate each other. And the longer it went, it just felt like they got meaner and meaner. I could see someone not wanting to watch a show like this, especially if certain characters used to be a certain way. And what I think is conflicting for me is that I've always admired that Matt and Trey admittedly understand why people watch and like Family Guy. They said it themselves and they say it in the episode.
And it's just a person, and we totally understand that people love it, and that's why we put it in the show. We understand that it speaks to some people, and it's like it can just be a simple laugh, and that's great. And we certainly don't think it should be taken off the air or anything like that.
I mean, I know it's just joke after joke, but I like that. At least it doesn't get all preachy and up its own ass with messages, you know?
Then you also have Trey saying shit like this.
Family, I think what makes me disappointed about Family Guy is I think it could be an amazing show. I think they're really, you can tell they're smart people working on it, but I think they've just kind of gone for...
I don't think they work hard enough.
Yeah, they need to work harder.
And it's like, dog, what the fuck? Apparently, crew members of Simpsons and Mike Judge's King of the Hill were really happy about South Park ripping Family Guy a new one and thanked them for it. That's why there's King of the Hill staff in the episode. That's why Bart's in the episode.
What's the worst thing you've ever done?
I stole the head off a statue once.
That's like this one time when I didn't like a kid, so I ground his parents up into chili and fed it to him.
I've always wondered, who the hell called these two that day? Who on these crews actually hate Family Guy, or at least in 2006? Because I know it's not the creators, unless they eventually warmed up to it. I've heard Seth say he's good friends with Matt Groening, and I'm sure as his friend, he knows that being Matt's friend does not assure that you're the Simpsons friend, because he doesn't do anything. And whoever from King of the Hill called him, I'm sure it wasn't Mike Judge, as he's been on Family Guy so many times as Hank Hill, including literally last year.
Hey, sorry about that.
Well, looks like Lois is plenty threatened by that new girl who moved in, I tell you what.
Family Guy came out in 1999 minding its own damn business. It had its own voice, its own style, made a dick roll a little bit, but all is forgiven. But something about this cartoon bothered other adult animation people. And I really want to act like I don't get it, but I do. If you're a musician and you spend hours on every little detail, you are going to be very annoyed when a track that seems like it was put together with way less effort than yours is the thing that everybody can't shut the fuck up about. I get it, I really do. It's childish, and the last thing I want to do is make it seem like I'm above being childish. With me understanding this, do I think that it's cool that South Park essentially said that what Family Guy writers do is so easy that a manatee can do it? No, not really, but it's kind of funny. This isn't a Family Guy's funny and you're wrong video. This isn't a South Park is wrong video. It's more of a shut the fuck up video. South Park, Family Guy, who cares? They're two different shows that do two different things to get a laugh out of their audience. And both are still around, so it's proof that both styles still work. It's proof that both styles are welcome. I don't give a fuck if you don't watch Family Guy no more, or if you don't think it's funny. The shit's still around. Somebody laughing at the shit that ain't just me. And the same goes for South Park. Family Guy fans aren't stupid. South Park fans aren't pretentious assholes. Who gives a fuck? Y'all are both watching cartoons. Out of everything, every talk I had to hear in preparation for this video, this is probably my favorite quote.
Now Sam Kinison used to have that problem with Andrew Dice Clay. He'd always say to me, Dice is, he's a hack. He's doing easy jokes. He's doing he says, I'm a genius and this and that. And I used to say, well, Dice is funny and you're funny.
Exactly. I don't know. You can laugh at Johnny Knoxville and Woody Allen, you know?
Probably wouldn't use Woody Allen. But you know, this is exactly how I feel. I think to a degree, this is all just a bit, the tad bit pretentious on Matt and Trey's part to not respect the way Family Guy is written just because they get their laughs from their audience in a way that they view as lazy. I just feel like it doesn't matter what you do to earn the laugh. The point is to earn the laugh. That is the point, right? I've seen things tell amazing, outstanding stories with great through lines that were also trying to be a comedy, but it just couldn't get a laugh out of me. And I've seen things with the most bare bones, nothing story, but I'm fucking bursting into tears laughing the entire time. And look, guess which one I had the most fun with?
First thing.
Lucy's.
We steady baking and our heads looking vacant cause my brain is on vacation and they want a piece of me. I ask them, what do you got?
Whenever you hear people talk about the way Family Guy has changed over the past 25 years, I feel like the difference in Brian's character is more talked about than anything else, and I think I get it. A character that was once this voice of reason in a sea of characters that seemingly refused to make the right decisions slowly morphed into this pretentious hypocrite who everyone knows isn't as smart as he thinks he is. But I think because of the kind of show that Family Guy is, most people talk about this as something that kind of came out of nowhere, and I don't know if that's true. Personally, I've always felt like I could point to the exact moment that the trend of writing this character this way started. So that's what this video is. Alright, time for some Family Guy character analysis. Y'all missed this shit? My pocket sure did. I think that Family Guy is a cartoon that really enjoys kicking the piss out of his own characters, especially after that revival. They put Stewie in situations that remind him that he's not as smart or clever as he thinks he is, reminding him that he's a baby and can still be naive.
Do you even know what sex is?
That's not the point. Don't change it. It's a kind of kick.
They remind Peter that while he gets away with a lot of shit, he is not indestructible, and some of his actions have legitimate consequences.
Well, I finally quit smoking and I'm ready to go back to normal.
Peter, that's not how it works. The damage you've done is irreversible.
Yeah, Lois is right.
What? Well, try cutting to the outside of the house over some music. That usually works. Fuck.
And for Brian, before he even changed as a character, they started poking at him to see if he actually is this holier-than-thou voice of reason, or if he's not as knowledgeable, moral-based, liberal, or as good of a writer as he leads on.
And I finally have a title.
Oh, what is it?
Faster than the speed of love.
That That is the worst title I've ever heard.
Longtime fans of Family Guy will most likely remember Jillian, played by Drew Barrymore, Brian's girlfriend for a couple seasons, who was both really hot and really fucking stupid at the same time. My favorite joke with her is the one where she tries to watch the Bernie Mac movie, Mr. 3000.
Yeah, the DVD needs to be face up when you put it in. Uh-huh. You should be able to see the words Mr. 3000. Yeah.
Brian and Jillian date for what is the show's equivalent of like 6 months. They even move in together for an episode because of some pressure from Peter, even though Brian really doesn't want to do it. And once Jillian finds that out, she breaks everything off.
Oh my god! I've never felt so stupid!
Really?
Brian tries to get her back, but by the time he pulls up, she already moved in with Adam West, who, I must say, is the nigga with the nastiest set of bodies out of everybody in this whole show.
Meg?
Yeah, this still happens sometimes.
Bro even fucked Rupert.
I'm gonna let that teddy bear go all the way.
Why did they kick bro out the orgy? He take this sex shit to a whole nother level. While I think Brian's arc with Jillian is really important for understanding his character and his decision making for a good chunk of the show, that's not exactly where I think he changed. It's the aftermath. The 124th episode of Family Guy is titled We Love You, Conrad. In it, Brian learns that Jillian is getting married and everyone gets an invite to the wedding except him. And it doesn't help that he hasn't had any luck with dating since they broke up.
I never do computer dating.
Yeah, me neither. So, you're 27?
Well, that picture was, it was posted a couple years ago. So you're a golden retriever?
Yeah, well, okay, who is this broad that jumped on eHarmony and tried to fuck a golden retriever? Man, this show is weird. This really bothers him, so he hits the bar and gets drunk, ultimately sleeping with Lauren Conrad from the Hills.
I mean, I probably had a lot to drink last night, so if I did anything that might have offended you, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I have a dog, so I've had to cut poop out of his fur before.
Oh, thanks.
Again, weird show. A show like The Hills goes against everything that we're to believe that Brian's character stands for at this point in the show. So he's embarrassed and honestly was probably never gonna call her again if Stewie didn't catch them outside together. By the time he gets home, it's already on TMZ.
Oh yeah, I know that guy. His name's Brian Griffin, and he definitely boned Lauren last night.
So like, if Lois and Meg can't understand Stewie, how exactly do they hear him on TMZ? He pulls up to break it off with her, but when he gets there, he finds out that she's super intelligent. She's playing like violin and conducting experiments like off the walk-in. That TV stuff is kind of just for the bag. In her personal life, she's the total opposite.
So this whole persona is just a publicity stunt?
Publicity is what keeps this franchise running, Brian. We're even using state-of-the-art computer animation to create a fake sex tape with me and Bill Cosby.
Now you will get ready for the
come on. And you will take off your clothes. I don't want no, stop. Oh my gosh. It's times like this, I'm glad I grew up with Mr. Cooper instead. His whole arc with Jillian, it seems like the takeaway from a lot of that is that Brian needs someone that's on his level. He needs to be challenged and have intellectual conversations. He needs his brain stimulated like that check that I never got. But in this episode with Lauren, it pretty much cements that this is not what Brian needs or wants. In fact, it actually pisses him and low-key the people around him the fuck off.
Actually, Mrs. Griffin, caviar spoons are carved from bone. They don't use metal because it reacts chemically with the fish eggs and changes their taste.
Oh, well, that's fascinating. You could have just complimented the free food, but one-upping me is another way to go.
So, guys.
Bitch.
See, one thing I've always noticed about this episode is that it's so easy to frame this as Brian getting a taste of his own medicine, but that's really not what it is. Every single small mistake Brian makes, every mispronunciation, every misinterpretation, Lauren feels the need to correct him and over-explain.
There was a special exhibition of rare Monet paintings and...
Manet, honey.
What?
It was actually the Manet exhibit, not Monet. But no big deal. People make that mistake all the time.
I'm at the part where they detail the account of Admiral Halsey's victory at Midway.
You mean Admiral Spruance, sweetie.
Huh?
Well, Halsey was hospitalized with psoriasis at the outset of the battle, so Spruance, who prior to June of 1941 was primarily a desk admiral, was charged with leading the naval fleet at Midway against Japan. A victory which surprised even his peers, and in fact was a turning point for the American naval forces in the Pacific.
And honestly, the more it goes on, it gets to the point where it definitely becomes patronizing to anybody.
Oh my god, you're so cute when you don't know what you're talking about.
Well, wait a minute, what the hell does that mean? Are you saying I'm not smart?
You don't have to be, you're adorable.
But you look back on those Brian and Jillian episodes, he never really does that to her. If she gets something wrong, he kind of just lets her rock out and enjoy her bliss. Brian knew he was smarter than Jillian, right? Yet he never used that against her, nor did he even really care. This episode shows that Brian really does prefer bond and connection over intellect. At least back then, I don't know what this nigga be doing now. now. They break up and there's this whole thing of Brian trying to get Jillian back during her wedding. The rest of the episode is really important if you're trying to build out an arc for how Brian goes about dating women after this point in the show. He becomes a lot more shallow, a lot more superficial. He kind of just treats every woman the same, and that's not really a good thing. Like, from this point moving forward, this is this nigga's favorite line.
The truth is, I haven't felt this way with anyone in a long time. I honestly feel a connection to this woman. More than I have to anyone in a long time. I can't remember the last time I felt this happy.
That's just what being a man is. You pick one line and you stick with it for the rest of your life. All the lines I use on my girlfriend are things I heard on Animaniacs in 4th grade. There ain't an original bone in my body. Anyway, please donate to my original pilot.
Good night, everybody.
My homie Lydia did a really great video about his love life on her channel that I wish I did, but I've been too busy crying myself to sleep since July. But I really think this second act is so interesting, just from like a character analysis point of view. Because this episode, this act, it is the very first time that both Brian himself and the audience are challenged with one question that the show would play with for the rest of its run. What if Brian isn't as smart or deep or insightful as he thinks he is? As we think he is? Why does he think he knows everything? Who does he think he is? Alright, that was multiple questions. 3 episodes later is the classic season 8 premiere, Road to the Multiverse. And while it is by no means the first Brian and Stewie story, it is the first one with a Brian that's closer to the one that we know today. In something like Road to Rhode Island, their dynamic is that Stewie constantly tries to belittle and patronize Brian, but he's too smart, rational, and level-headed to care. Stewie thinks he's smarter than him, but he's just a baby that doesn't even know that he's supposed to put his seatbelt on.
You left out the part where I made you smash your head on the windshield. I don't recall.
But in Multiverse, Stewie is a genius whose stock emotion isn't just anger or cynicism. And Brian is like suddenly below him in terms of intelligence. Not only that, but he fakes the funk. He suddenly feels the need to overcompensate about what he knows and doesn't know. This is from the first 2 minutes of the episode.
You ever heard of the multiverse theory, Brian? Well, of course I have, but I'm wondering if you have. Oh my god, so transparent.
6 episodes after this, Jerome is the new Black, with Quagmire's infamous speech about how much he fucking hates Brian, just further kicking the piss out of this character whose flaws before this were no worse than any average human being. The next year, Brian writes a bestseller. This nigga not even smart enough to talk on Bill Maher. Man, you could throw me, Phantom Strider, Crop Gang ENT, and Wacky Deli up there and we shake the table. Look at this nightmare blunt rotation. Before anyone says it, they could have not done this on purpose. Honestly, if you're here to comment that I'm taking Family Guy too seriously, you might need to look inward because you the one that clicked on a Family Guy analysis video. At least I'm getting a bag, homie. You and that bitch watching this shit for free. But it is so interesting to me that in his very next story after having his character shined in a new light, Brian is suddenly written a completely different way. And it continues. It's the way that it's consistently been for the past like 15 years at this point. I do love who Brian used to be. As a fan of the show and this world, how could I not, right? But at the same time, the more I come to understand comedy and sitcom writing, who he is today is so much easier to make funny. And he still fulfills his original role a lot of the time, just with Peter, Turkey Guys, Underage Peter. Even a more current example like Pawtucket Pat still gives us that voice of reason Brian that alerts Peter when he's flying off the handles and doesn't understand the position that he's putting himself into.
I'll be damned if I'm gonna let some draft-dodging liberals tear it down.
We don't have a draft.
Well, then, who shaved my head and yelled at me for 2 months?
Peter, we've been over this. That was the Heaven's Gate cult.
Oh, right, that thing with the shoes. Yeah, once I got the shoes, I split.
I can't really fault anyone that doesn't like that their favorite character turned into the exact kind of guy that they hate. That's just kind of a universally understood emotion. But I'm at least glad that it was gradual. And it all comes from this point.
How could I have been so myopic?
Myopic.
Thank you, Lauren.
Alright, that's the video. I'm sorry if the ad read went on a little long. If anyone's tired of the shorter videos, do not worry. I'm currently trying to cook up long videos on both Cleveland Show and All Grown Up. They're just gonna take a while for me to make those as good as I want to. Getting a little of the animation for my pilot done. Shout out to the homie K Bebop. Indiegogo updates coming soon. Here's hoping that I don't have another month-long panic attack between uploads again. Too late.
Good night, everybody.
Gosh.
pussies. This is Toonerific Tariq checking in with some bullshit content. I can't too much has happened in my personal life for me to get a video out this month, a proper video essay, but they are coming. In the meantime, thought I'd try something new. I see people do stuff like this all the time. Cheat their audience, if you will. we gonna do a tier. We don't know the title of the video. Gonna tell you what tier list we doing. We don't know yet though. We about to figure this shit out.
That's half the fun.
It's half the fun. Half the fun is the rambling. You know, thank you everybody for bearing with me while I not only go through all of the personal things, but also while I dive head first into making my cartoon, because that just seems like all I focus on right now. But yeah, I'm about to send y'all niggas to an ad though, so what up though? It's me from the future. Just want to real quick give a rundown on the tiers, kind of cut the part where we explain each tier as we made it. You know, we doing adult animation. Top tier was legendary. That's preserved for the shows that we felt changed something. The landscape just looked different after it came out. More so, it did things that we feel were never done before in animation, that kind of stuff. After that, we got art with a bunch of question marks and exclamation point. I think there's a 1 in there. That is reserved for the shows that we feel they aren't necessarily legendary, but they're as close as you could get. Every show on that list provokes this kind of euphoric emotion in all of us. Third tier was excellent. Shows that we put under the shows that are in art, but we still feel are really, really great. Under that, we got pretty good. Shows that we don't think are amazing, but we think are, they're still great. They're still really good shows. Then you got alright. That's just kind of the ones where it's I don't hate it. You feel what I'm saying? It's alright. We got chopped cheese. That's just the shows that personally we don't like. Doesn't mean that they're objectively bad shows. I don't believe in shit like that. But I don't know. It's just not for us. It's probably for y'all, not for us. At the bottom one, it's the one I feel I gotta explain, is the WTF, the what the fuck tier. That basically just means that either we haven't seen it, but we heard of it. We haven't seen it and we haven't heard of it, or we've seen it and we just don't remember, or I don't know, maybe we just ain't want to talk about it. We did finish this tier list, but I don't know when I'm gonna have time to edit the entire thing. But if this does well, maybe I'll just put the rest into a little part 2 or something like that. And if it doesn't and you guys still want to see the rest, I'll figure out a way to make the shit available on Patreon. Yeah. Oh, who we got here though? We gotta do that first. I forgot about that part. Hats Off Media.
Yo.
We got Offbeat Kiki.
President of the Toonerific Tariq fan club.
Aw, shit now. We got Man of 1,000 Thoughts.
Brother in Arms.
Alright, here's some head-ass cartoon tier list. The ultimate Disney animation ones. That just sounds
sounds like a work.
That sounds maybe DreamWorks animation, but then again, there's a bunch that y'all probably haven't seen.
I feel like I was most present for DreamWorks during their nasty era.
You mean that Shark Tale bullshit?
Yeah.
Yeah. We got adult animation right here. Ultimate adult animation tier list.
That sounds fun.
We could do that.
It's in theme with your channel lately too. You've been doing a lot of adult stuff.
Yeah, that's true. It's because I'm making that adult ass cartoon. Alright, we got this adult animation tier list though.
Where are the choices?
They're down here. First one is The Simpsons.
Had to be The Simpsons.
This is S, right?
Yeah, I mean,
it's agree that it's S.
It's the grandfather.
I wish they cropped the logos properly though.
Yeah, this is The Simpsons.
That's disgusting.
This is disgusting. The Simpsons.
Go put The Simpsons.
It's only Homer. It's just one.
They got some shit up here, yo. We not doing hardly.
That's so.
This world, these niggas going crazy.
Oh man, dude, I am so fucking hungry. American Dad.
That's gotta be excellent for me,
That would be
boys.
excellent, yeah.
That's a very
Bro,
very-
that show just went so nuts
Yeah,
by the end
just,
from where it
just by
started.
the strength of the second half. It started off pretty good, like basically.
Yeah. It's
It
our
did.
American Dad was always good, but like the way it was before it was just kind of like this vessel for like a bunch of political, I guess, commentary or discussion or whatever, and with kind of that like Family Guy sense of humor or whatever the case may be. But like, I don't know, man. I turned my back one day, and then like that shit just turned into some other shit. Like I don't even know.
They don't do. It's just pure insanity. Like they keep on doing the same joke that Stan just doesn't go to work.
Really? They keep forgetting. It's like, yeah, he's CIA, but that's always just a plot device thing.
Yeah,
It's just
they
to
only
explain some of
mention
the
it when he
scientific
needs a
bullshit.
laser.
Out of all of the Seth MacFarlane cartoons, surprisingly, it is the one with the deepest understanding of black culture.
Right?
They got Steve singing "It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday." They got Steve singing "My Body All Over Your Body." They got Trapped in a Closet parodies. That show is madness. We got Ring Aqua Teen now.
I would put that in art.
You think so?
You kind of got to. The first episode is like the one normal episode throughout the whole series.
Honestly. That's the one that sticks to what the premise was supposed to be.
Exactly. Exactly.
The whole point of this show was that they were gonna like be detectives and they were supposed to like solve mysteries and shit. Like that's what Aqua Teen was, and that's why that pilot is so fucking weird.
Yeah.
And then like I think like literally the next one, like immediately after that, there's like no mystery, and it was brought up in like the middle of the show. I remember as a teenager.
Yes, I
seeing
remember
it
that
being
too.
brought up, and I remember being like, wait. So y'all remember this?
You guys ever think about how it's like a milkshake and fries that you would like, that makes sense to be together, and then there's just a fucking meatball,
Like a
hanging
raw,
out.
like a raw patty,
just
like
a raw
you-
patty, like not
it's
even
not
a
a
burger.
burger.
The one with Santa Claus just being summoned by
Is that the one where they have to keep like changing his, like they had to give him like body parts and shit or something?
They gave him soccer skin, like a soccer ball skin.
Yeah. Oh, that shit
they just kill him basically.
That's bro. It's the most insane Christmas special because it's like it wasn't a Christmas special. It literally starts as just a normal episode, but by the end, it's basically Christmas.
Fuck Daria.
Oh no, Tariq! Now we have to reveal something.
Yeah, we have.
We watched the show together.
Yeah, we did. I think. What do you think, Keeks?
I would go. I feel like excellent or pretty good. Yeah,
I would go pretty. I would go pretty good.
I'm on the line to pretty good.
Yeah, I agree.
I just feel like there's a lot of missed potential in Daria, and I don't even want to say anything more than that until you and I do our thing. It's a different show at the end. Oh my God. I don't want to say anything more.
The only thing I'll say is the 5th season of Daria is what I thought the entirety of Daria was gonna be.
Yeah.
And then when I got to it, it was kind of like, I don't want to say it was like too little, too late, but I was like, oh shit! So this is the cartoon I thought I was gonna get. It's just at the end. Video coming soon though.
You have to work for it.
Soon in quotation marks.
Soon in quotation marks. Happy birthday, Braceface.
Happy birthday, Braceface.
I'm about to put robot chicken and chopped cheese. I ain't really about to.
Come on, man. No.
I ain't about to beef with niggas.
I did at least put it on.
At least, yes. Come on, not no chopped cheese.
I
at least give it that.
That was like peak 4th grade.
But that's what I'm saying. Like with all due respect, because niggas know me. Like I'm not up here trying to be deflammatory and shit like that. But with all due respect, like I sincerely think that show was not made for people my age, and I'm 25. Cause like everybody says the same shit, that they found it so funny in 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Even up to high, I'll even give niggas high school. Like I wasn't watching high school.
I was still watching high school.
Yeah, so I'll even give it high school. You feel me? But like,
I get that, but I've looked back at like, there's certain ones that still make me laugh.
The only 2 Robot Chicken skits that stand out to me, there's the one where the gummy bear gets his legs stuck in the trap.
Oh,
that's the one.
That's the one that people keep resharing so damn much.
And the Game of Life. That one is like a core memory.
Oh yeah, that is a core memory.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think I remember that one.
That's the one
Kill
where
your husband in the Game of Life. That it's also important to point out that like whatever the sense of humor of Robot Chicken was, it was really tied to the DNA of like early internet, early YouTube. Because shit like that one where like there's like GTA and Mario, for example.
Oh yeah.
Even though that is Robot Chicken and it came from Adult Swim and aired on Cartoon Network, whatever the case may be, but like that is something that somebody in their house would have put out like in like 07, 08 on early YouTube.
Dude, if Robot Chicken was a web show, it would have been #1.
Yeah,
That's
it
true.
very much would have been #1.
First of all, okay, we going 12-ounce mouse. We going art. And this is unironic. I fuck with this shit.
Nah,
this
dude, 12-ounce mouse is funny.
This is unironic.
I discovered it was funny like a little while ago.
This shit is like the way they be talking to each other on that shit. If you watch this video and you ain't fucked with 12-ounce, this shit is gas.
When I was a kid, I was like, I can't fuck with this.
Oh yeah, I hated it when I was a kid.
Yeah,
Season 3 was in 2020?
Oh, for real?
Yeah, that might have been like the revival season, maybe.
I still love that the most expensive thing about that show is the opening. Like they spent all their money on like pyrotechnics and like sets.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna let y'all take the realm on Ricky Morty, just cause like if it was up to me, Ricky Morty either going in pretty good or alright.
It's just kind of tiring to consume now.
Yeah, that's what it is. As you watch it, it's like after you're done, you feel exhausted, and it's like I was just watching it. I shouldn't feel tired.
I don't feel exhausted at all.
See, cause like my thing is like watching Ricky Morty for cartoons that curse. Like I just kind of like that was me understanding like okay, like I feel like that hurt my enjoyment of the show watching it back to back, like as opposed to like when it was airing weekly and I would like just kind of catch it when I caught it. But even then, it's like like I feel like the reason that I'm like not too big on Ricky Morty is like the same reason why like a lot of people don't like Family Guy. But I think my difference here is that like the thing is like people don't like that the Family Guy characters are like assholes to each other and like they're like nothing characters and they're just kind of like you don't care about them and stuff like that. But the thing is that like Family Guy rarely ever tries to convince you to care about the family, but that's all Rick and Morty does. But it also kind of treats them disposable and they all fucking hate each other. And I don't want to see that.
The reason that I think it's different though is like they all feel that way because they're all like incredibly broken people. They're not just like assholes for no reason. Like it tells you why they're all assholes. And it doesn't justify their behavior, but like I don't know, Rick and Morty has like pulled at my emotions way more than even a lot of the shows in like the art category. So I don't know, for me it's like it's weird to rate it now because my relationship with the show is like so complicated because of like how it is regarded in the zeitgeist, but also like if I'm just looking at the show that has been put in front of me, I care for it a lot. But I always feel like it's never truly reached its potential because of the constant writers' room arguing, because they want to be doing like BoJack level stuff and they keep getting held back by like Pickle Rick level stuff. So it sounds like it doesn't know what the fuck category.
Yeah,
kind of, yeah.
It's not. Yeah. I can't put it in. I don't know if it's bad. It's too weird. I don't know. I have to
That's kind of where I am. I'm like, I don't know if you're bad. You're just very weird.
I'm too scared to watch it.
I'm a little scared of that shit too. I'm scared of Frisky Dingo. That's really what I'm scared of, bro. I've been running from that shit my whole life.
Frisky Dingo was kind of scary, but like I kind of want to watch like a bit. Just because I want to see where Archer came from.
Man, you know they were scary because there was like they would send chills down my spine just being like the TV guide listing.
Like, oh, they playing that shit. Damn.
Oh, you mean Tura?
Yes.
I love Tura.
I think is Tura it's obviously legendary, but is it better than the Boondocks and King of the Hill?
Low key,
No.
I was thinking. No, here's the thing, because I was thinking about
the Boondocks.
I was saying Morning King of the Hill.
Wait,
I was saying Morning King of the Hill.
I was thinking about this before we got to it, and I was remembering with Futurama, you do have to take in mind everything about it. That means the Fox run and the Comedy Central run, and now the new run. You also have to include all the real bad episodes and episodes that just are pretty weak.
You can say the same thing about The Simpsons, though. Like, so
that is true. But
Nothing's dethroning The Simpsons in my.
That's true.
Right.
My argument to what you're saying though is that 1/4 of the Boondocks is bad.
Yeah.
And like possibly 1/4 of Futurama might be bad. There are almost 200 episodes of Futurama, and there's a fourth of the like 40 to 50 episodes of Boondocks.
That's a solid chunk.
Yeah, I agree with Stewie.
Because there's more good episodes of Futurama than there are good episodes of Boondocks, because there's more episodes of Futurama.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, that's true. I don't know.
We don't have Rick and Morty without Futurama. That is.
I think Futurama is important. Like Futurama is like
incredibly important.
It's basically
4 times.
It's like the blueprint for like adult sitcoms that like have like a twist. You know, like a
Office or something.
Yeah,
That's
like the shows have like a magic or like a science thing. Like it's basically it's all comes from Futurama basically.
Yeah,
But I think
yeah.
King
Now
of the
that I
Hill
think
might
about
be
it.
like consistently better. So
It is.
I think
Yeah,
this
King of the
placement
Hill.
is right.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
should continue because we have so many more to talk about.
Bob's Burgers, legendary.
I ain't about to argue but that's the thing. I don't know about that, but
come on.
Yeah.
No. I want to. We're gonna argue.
legendary.
Exactly.
Everybody in this car knows I love Bob's Burgers. I had this shit on my TV for like 5 hours. Right. The cartoon I'm making is Bob's Burgers meets Insecure. I fuck with Bob's Burgers. That being said, Bob's Burgers is the byproduct of like 2 to 3 of the shows in Legendary.
Okay, I agree with you there. Actually, that's totally.
Here's
fair.
my thing though. Even though that is kind of a case, but with Bob's Burgers, the thing that transcends it into Legendary, it managed to make very low humor really funny. It managed to find an audience that you think that most people would think, yeah, that's not gonna work. Nobody would like a show where they're mostly just standing around talking in such a low tone or with little happening at all.
But like it's after home movies. It's the success of the home movie. Like it didn't do it first. You know what I mean? And like it so that was part of my thing too, is that like it's not like Bob's isn't anything I've never seen before. I just really fucking love it.
When it came out, a lot of people, the biggest draw to it was that it's not Simpsons, it's not Family Guy. It definitely is inspired by it to some degree, but it does balance out the lineup, and it has been doing that for over a decade. And it kind of proved that, like after like a decade or two of like adult cartoons doing the craziest fucking shit, you still have those shows after Bob's Burgers, but it did prove that like something more low-key, kind of PG leaning is it could be successful in adult animation, and I think that was an important message to send.
Is that also not King of the Hill? Low-key, PG?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Bob's fills that space though, right? It's about the balance. So when King of the Hill left, Bob was not that far behind it. It's still balanced, it balances everything out. It's still part of that legacy.
It's got King of the Hill DNA though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think literally one of the developers came from King of the Hill, if I'm not mistaken.
He did. Yeah. Dotrieve.
Yeah. It was Dotrieve. Cool. Okay. It was. Look, dude, this is not me saying a damn thing about the quality of Bob's Burgers.
Yeah.
I might
get
you. I fuck with Bob, but in terms of, I guess, like what we've been using that for, that Legendary for, I don't know. I'm just, we could spin the block. We
can't just gloss by hard drinking Lincoln. That's such a good.
Can we talk about this for a minute? Because I need
hard drinking Lincoln.
the context.
Fuck it, why not?
Oh, it's a Flash. It's a webtoon, like a Flash cartoon.
Man,
Who is this nigga?
Oh, look at
Why is
them.
this in here?
This
looks
shit
funny.
this look like the cat game on Jackbox.
But it's got an IMDb.
It does, actually.
Well, I don't think
Is
that's
that Frederick Duck? Get this shit out. Is that Frederick
Oh,
Duck?
no.
Part of me wants to put that in chopped cheese just because of all this bullshit.
Dude, that's
I'm about to put this shit on.
No.
Gary the Rat.
Gary the
What
Rat.
is Gary the Rat?
It was sci-fi, I think.
It was?
Think so.
Gary the Rat.
This nigga. Oh.
What?
Oh,
the
it was
hell?
Spike.
What is?
Oh no!
This is an adult show. This looks like a kids series.
No.
Spike TV, baby.
Yo, just go to the. This is dangerous. Just go to the Google results.
Hey, Homer, I need to ask you a favor. My babysitter canceled, and I got tickets to a Christian rock concert.
It is kind of funny.
Terrific Tariq Lucy's. Y'all know I'm not one to talk about new cartoons like right after they come out. Shoot, I barely even watch cartoons anymore. But I watched that new Everybody Still Hates Chris a few days ago when it premiered on Comedy Central with some friends. And I was really surprised that I actually had a lot to say about it, so I thought I'd make a quick video. So, I'm gonna talk about my general thoughts on the show, the way it connects to the original, and even offer up some character analysis on Chris, and where it looks like they're gonna take his character over the course of this thing's run. Mild spoilers, maybe? Nothing too crazy, you'll see worse just scrolling through your timeline.
History doesn't repeat itself. It reboots. And everybody hates a reboot.
Real quick though, today's video is actually brought to you by my indie pilot, Hey. It is basically written like a Bob's Burgers episode if Bob was allowed to say nigga.
What nigga don't want to see that?
We're in the middle of finishing up the animation on the theme song and gearing up to do our Indiegogo campaign sometime in the near future. But if you have it to spare, please consider donating to the show so we can get a head start. Links are down below. Okay, now, here's a thing that I edited.
Gosh.
So for anybody unclear, Everybody Hates Chris was a sitcom from the mid-2000s created by Chris Rock about his childhood growing up in Brooklyn in the 80s, with a fictionalized version of his family that does not include Tony Rock. Also, apparently this nigga had like 5 brothers. I was a real big fan of the show back when it was airing, but even 15 years later, there's so many jokes, episodes, and moments that I look back on super fondly. It's probably one of the reasons I am who I am today. I'm not sure if that's a good thing. They've been talking about this animated reboot, Everybody Still Hates Chris, for years. I low-key thought this shit was just gonna never come out on some Roger Rabbit 2 shit. The kids were recast, but pretty much all the adult cast is back reprising their roles, which is cool. Chris Rock is back doing all the narration, sneaking in those stupid one-liners littered all throughout the episodes. It would not be the same show without these.
Ignoring you? I've been thinking about you all day. Don't say that out loud.
Really? I've been thinking about you all day too.
Never mind, you do you.
We're only 2 episodes in, but it looks like they're trying to add some new characters too to really round out that world, which I think is a good call. They got this piece of graffiti that Chris talks to, which is kind of cool. Gives him someone to vent his frustrations to that's not this fake ass Greg.
Car fumes must be getting to me.
Car fumes must be getting to me. Why you being a little bitch?
There's a crack fiend in the 2nd episode that is very clearly voiced by and looks exactly like Chris Rock, which is definitely a New Jack City reference because every black cartoon comes with just a little bit of homework. Even if you want to enjoy Craig of the Creek, bro, you still gotta look up a little Missy Elliott. Surprising as hell to me though, this show kicks off literally seconds after the original show. Some of the first art that they dropped showed the characters in the exact same diner that they were in the last scene, which stood out to me because literally, when else has this family ever been able to afford to go out to eat? In a few hours before the episodes came out, the homie Nick showed me the name of the episode, which is practically a dead giveaway.
For those who don't know or just don't remember because you started paying bills since this show ended, the final episode of Everybody Hates Chris is about Chris being threatened with having to repeat the 10th grade because he has to take 3 buses to get to school and his teacher won't cut him any slack, so he's been late 30 times. Chris, not fucking with the embarrassment that comes with that, decides to get his GED, so he drops out. The series finale ended with a parody of The Sopranos, where right before we find out whether or not Chris passed the GED, it cuts to black before we can even get an answer. I wouldn't leave y'all hanging like that, man. Come on. The last scene was always a little annoying to me, I ain't gonna lie. They keep cutting the characters that we don't know. I think it's supposed to be part of the parody. There's definitely a thickness in the air that tells you that this is the end. But nobody knew what any of this shit meant, dude. I've been reading forums for years trying to figure this shit out. The most I've been able to figure out over the years is that Chris says this.
Hey Mom, I heard they were hiring at Red Lobster.
Because when he actually did drop out of school and get his GED in real life, he ended up getting a job at Red Lobster. And by able to figure out, I mean read on Wikipedia. Like every other channel you watch. Yes, even that one. Especially that one, actually. I had read a theory that the number on the rear of Julius's truck was supposed to be Chris's actual GED score, but yeah, no, that would have made this nigga some kind of super genius. Forgive me for spending so long on the original show, by the way. It's not every day I get to talk about something where the characters don't talk to each other in the 3/4 view in every shot.
What's it say?
You failed.
What?
Boy, I'ma slap you in the animation.
Ow.
Oh.
I think it is so relentlessly brilliant that they went in this direction. Looking at the behavior of your main character from the series finale and really examining it. When Chris is threatened with staying back, his parents do not help him. They actually gaslight his mom out of helping him.
You don't really want your son being coddled and helped through life and all of its obstacles like some rich little white girl, do you?
Say yes, say yes!
No. Well, I guess you're right.
Matter of fact, him being the oldest, he rarely ever goes to them as the show goes on. Because he feels like he knows how they'll react. So he takes every issue into his own hands. Instead of telling his family that Al Bundy won't let him into class, or the toll the 3-bus trip every morning is having on him, Chris tries his best to get to school on time. And when he finally loses that battle, he already has a plan and a solution. Rochelle knows that Chris has to repeat the 10th grade because he's been late, but I don't think the gravity of the circumstances that got him to this point has ever really been explained to her. His family wasn't that big a part in this, despite this being a major turning point in his life. So to hear Rochelle react to what we already knew Chris went through in the 2009 episode is so interesting. It's a really brilliant piece of writing. It makes these 2 episodes almost feel like a 2-parter now.
Baby, I had no idea. Why didn't you tell us?
I tried to handle it myself. Guess I was too dumb to do that too.
The original show was really sweet. It always made sure to let you know that while everybody did hate Chris, it wasn't the end of the world for him. Shit kept happening to him, but he had his family and people that really wanted to make sure that he was okay. That's probably the most important puzzle piece of what made this thing work as well as it did. And it's great to know that they didn't get rid of that, especially in an era where adult animated sitcoms could care less about that kind of thing.
Hi, Dad.
Anyway, please donate to my pilot.
I've been thinking for months about how this show would translate to animation, and I gotta say, the end result is really interesting. The original show would do these big random things, some cutaway gags, and I was worried that they wouldn't be as funny when animated. Since part of the appeal of the original show was that absurd nature of it just being a live action cartoon in some ways. But I don't know, they mostly worked here for me. I think these are executed pretty well. There's a little Rick and Morty hoops thing going on with the animation. I think really in the way the characters and their limbs move. As far as the design, I'm not the first one to say it, but it really reminds me of the Jellies from Adult Swim. AKA the show that I thought gaslit me until I found out that the episode that I saw but people didn't was actually banned in its original form, and I just have to live with that shit in my head now. What I've really been struggling with though is how some characters like Julius or Doc, Morello, Kill Moves, they are very clearly modeled after the actors that portrayed them in the original show. But then you got like this fake ass Drew. I don't know who nephew this is.
I'm gonna win the hot dog eating contest. The trick is not to chew.
Well, Jerome, my nigga, if his first line wasn't "Lil Dude from across the street," I wouldn't even be able to tell you who this was. I also had to Google his name because I always forget, even back in 2008. Look at Mr. Omar, bruh. This nigga long as hell. He look like Spies in Disguise. Fam, look at Caruso. Y'all can't have Chris getting beat up by this nigga, little ass rat tail. I guess it don't make a difference. The original just kind of look like Barry from American Dad. Chris is really interesting because this pretty much looks absolutely nothing like Tyler James Williams. But he does look like Chris Rock, so it's like, how could you even argue against it? Well, you don't have to. Not everything needs to be an argument. It feels like the writing was trying to make the exact same show, but the character designers were just kind of told to do whatever, so everything just kind of falls in the middle. I think also some stuff with some characters' ages are a bit wonky. Chris sounds significantly younger than TJW did by season 4.
Look, I'm not repeating the 10th grade. I don't know what else to do. I can't fake being in a gang. It'll get me in trouble with a real gang.
I know she's supposed to be in like 6th grade, but it really feels like they aged Tanya down too. I think it's the hair, definitely right for her age, but she was like wearing her hair out by this point in the show. Including this scene. This new Greg makes my stomach hurt, bruh. I am sorry. I'm usually not this mean, but I cannot stand this Poindexter ass voice they gave him.
What would people say if they saw me with Drew's brother?
Drew's brother?
It's what they're calling you now.
I totally get the intention to recast all the kids, to give them younger voices, but they could have made an exception, bruh. Not only does Vincent Martella sound exactly the same, but he's literally a voice actor.
I love Justin Bieber.
I don't see the point in casting another white boy if you can't find a white boy that's funnier than Phineas Flynn.
And when I asked if she was going to the block party, she said, maybe I'll see you there. Dude, that's like girl code for I want your body. You're so in there.
Ah, he said the thing, you got me. I think everybody's basically the same characterization-wise besides Rochelle and Tanya. Rochelle is exaggerated a bit, not even in performance. Just in his first episode, she kind of feels like Francine from American Dad. Except this time, all the black shit that she says actually makes sense.
Homegirl don't even have to work. Homegirl get that paper all on her own.
Stop that. You're white.
I'm homegirl.
But she's not like a static character. She still grows, learns things, and still feels like Rochelle. They gave her like an arc about government cheese, and that second one was great. No notes there. Just by these first two, it really feels like they Flanderized Tanya and sucked every little bit of likability out of her. She was always kind of the worst, but it got to the point where I was kind of annoyed every time she showed up. I hope there's some episodes soon that re-explore her characters so I don't gotta feel that way.
Guess I was too dumb to do that too.
It's always something with him.
Just the worst, bruh. Fuck. The music is probably the most disappointing part. I see what they're going for, but I'm not really fucking with it. No theme song either. Like, I thought we were past the title card era. That shit should have died with regular show. They still do end every episode with that little everybody hates Chris thing like in the original show, which I was really happy about. But I think this is one of those things that works so much better in live action because it kind of comes off as a little awkward in animated form. I think it's because cartoons normally move faster, so it feels like the episode kind of like slows down for it. Or maybe it's because the coverage over these parts feels more natural in live action. I don't really know how to describe it.
Everybody still hates Chris.
I don't really know how to fix this, so good luck, y'all. Man, I got a few issues, but I am so happy with how much I loved Everybody Still Hates Chris. For the first time in like 5 years, I'm actually excited to see the direction the new cartoon is going in. Because I'm gonna keep it 100, I had tapped out after 2 getting Baby Girl. I don't know why they made this show. That probably sounds a little mean and blunt, but honestly, I don't think I know. Whenever those new Futurama episodes come up in conversation, me and the homie Johnny always talk about waiting for that eventual thing that they do that justifies the return. An episode that is so good that it rivals some of the best the original cartoon had to offer. If you have a super strong finale that resonates with people, a good length run that really feels like lightning in a bottle, as a fan, we feel like there has to be a legitimate good artistic reason for you to tempt that fate. It's only 2 episodes in, so I'm excited to see if Everybody Still Hates Chris will deliver on that front, or if it'll just be a silly cartoon. But I think they're on the right track. I fuck with this heavy. Give it a shot if you got the time. It comes on Comedy Central Wednesdays, and I think I read that they throwing that bitch up on Paramount Plus too. If they were gonna bring this show back at the very least, I'm at least glad that it's good. That's it. I thought I was gonna end this thing with like a pun on the title or something, but I think everybody'd hate that.
Misunderstood. Everybody thinks he's up to no good. Whenever he's around, things go wrong. The kid sticks out like a sore thumb. He thinks he's funny, but he sends people running. Even his family knows that he won't grow. The middle child growing up Brooklyn style. Things get complicated. No wonder he's so hated. Everybody hates Griff.
Because we're all the Lord's children, all with the same God-given dignity. No diggity. No doubt.
Lil Kev is a brand new adult animated series produced exclusively for BET+. Oh, y'all just ain't want nobody to watch this, huh? I grew up during the rise of Kevin Hart's stand-up. Stuff like I'm a grown little man and Laugh at My Pain were quoted relentlessly by me and the homies at school, and they even filmed Paper Soldiers in my hometown. I wish there was a Prim's Hood Cinema video that I could direct y'all to, but you're just gonna have to trust me that this is a real movie and Dame Dash directed it.
And I want to be black so bad that I got a picture of Don Cornelius under my pillow.
Johnny.
Oh, right. White people watch these videos too. Dame Dash is I consider myself a Kevin Hart fan. I wasn't one of those people that just woke up one day and decided he wasn't funny and I was tired of him. Like I feel like y'all gonna do to me one day. He's been talking about getting an adult animated series off the ground for years, but now it's finally here. I thought this was gonna be like a weekly drop thing, but they just dropped all 10 of them things on us. So let's talk about them. Mild spoilers, but y'all grown, y'all ain't gonna die nothing. No sponsor this time either. We going in broke and raw. Like me.
Mister, you just helped me solve this case.
Good. Now solve the mystery on why the fuck you are still talking to me.
Right after you answer a few more of my questions.
Nigga.
Lil Kev takes place in 1993, smack dab in the middle of North Philly, where Kevin Hart grew up. It's about him as a 12-year-old navigating through his childhood and a bunch of wacky black shit happens. Y'all know how that go. Because of the nature of his premise, Lil Kev invites comparisons to anything from Lil Bill and Everybody Still Hates Chris to Lil Rosie and Lil Ellen. Alright, so not exactly, but how often do you get the name drop Lil Rosie? A lot of Kevin Hart's early comedy comes from his family and his life growing up. Now it's more about his kids and his wife, but so many iconic bits are just about like his dad and his mom. Like I really remember those things. His dad, his mom, his brother and uncle. If you ever watch this stand up, a lot of this cartoon is just going, oh, so that's what he was talking about. It was really cool to watch this show and catch a few references sprinkled here and there.
Don't come past the second goddamn step on the stoop. My mom turned my dad into the definition of a true stepdad.
You've been demoted to being a stepdad. That means you are not allowed past my front step.
Ma! Out of nowhere, all I heard was, all right, all right, all right.
All right, all right, all right. Nigga swing like a pendulum.
Say it with your chest, little ass nigga.
He knew the secret to life. Say it with your chest.
Okay. What does that mean?
It means say it with your chest.
Be prepared, because this nigga says this one the whole cartoon. I think the way Kev himself is characterized in this cartoon is what sets it apart from not only its cartoon based on a celebrity's childhood contemporaries, but also apart from just cartoons that take place in the hood in general. Shit like PJs, Good Times, Chris, all stuff that I definitely like, but none of them exactly go the route that this show goes. In the pilot to Lil Kev, Kev starts a riot by accident because he was standing up to this light-skinned bully with a very hilarious name, using some jail shit his uncle taught him earlier in the episode. Alright, so I lived in Philly for 3 years. All you gotta do is sprinkle a couple dickheads and some stolen Jersey Club in this shit, and this is exactly what it looks like out there when the Eagles win. And this understandably upsets his mom.
Tell her what you said about Chin Check Mom.
Do I have to?
Your mama stuffed so many wieners in her mouth, Oscar Mayer wants her to be their new logo.
Damn, Kev, that's terrible. You wouldn't happen to have his mom's phone number, would you?
I like this nigga. We got the same values. Kev's mom works at the hospital in town. She directly sees the effects of all of the violence in her town on a daily basis, which is why she just cannot comprehend how Kev is out here starting riots, purposefully or not. She brings him to work to kind of scare him straight and show him the dangers of his environment. All really standard shit that we've definitely seen done before. But listen to what he says here.
So you don't think that I know that we live in a crime-infested neighborhood, Mom? Or that my daddy is drunk or high half the time? It's not that I'm blind. I just choose to see the world I want to live in. I am safe. As safe as I'm going to be living in North Philly. I mean, I know what time it is. I know who I need to stay away from.
I think that this is such a cool way to do a show like this. Having a main character that loves their environment despite its flaws, loves the people in it despite their flaws, and is generally more optimistic and strong-willed than someone like Chris from Everybody Hates Chris. Or I guess Everybody Still Hates Chris. 2 shows? This nigga had hella childhood. There's a couple growing up in the hood cartoons, but this is the first like I love my hood cartoons that I've seen since maybe Class of 3000. Usually the main focus of these kind of cartoons is like, look, I know our circumstances aren't the best and it feels like the world is coming down on you, but we have each other. They prioritize the importance of that community and being there for each other. And Lil Kev definitely does that. The family is definitely important, but it isn't what gets him out of bed in the morning. Kev sees the good in everything while also determined to make things even better. The nigga just wants to enjoy life without living in fear. At first, I thought this optimism was just a bold character choice that they made, but in the middle of me writing this video, a Breakfast Club interview with Kevin Hart came out and I was reminded that this is just how this nigga speaks. I also find it funny that this nigga sat across from Just Hilarious for an hour, ran through the cast of the cartoon, and neither one of them brought up that she's literally the voice of a character.
Now you notice it's the same limo from the opening credits from different strokes. Ty Bridges rinsed it out to pay for his debilitating cocaine addiction.
Sheesh. Speaking of though, the cast of Lil Kev is unfucking believable. This is the craziest black cartoon cast since Freaknik. So many legends. Slink, Dion Cole, Avion Crockett, DJ Quick, Jaden Libran, Miss Pat.
Fuck you! I'm going to Supercut where they know how to treat a bitch right.
Loretta Devine plays like 3 characters using the exact same voice. The lunch lady, a lady in church, and Kev's grandma. Everybody is so funny in this. The writing definitely gets funnier as the episodes go on, and the performances really bring all of that to a whole nother level.
We are holding art class outside today.
This is gonna be so much fun! That's what I'm talking about, bitch!
So we can paint our Black Pride mural.
This is bullshit, bitch!
If there's anybody holding this cartoon on their back, it is Cree motherfucking Summer. This reminds me of when I was 10 and niggas was acting like there was only 2 black people you cast in a cartoon and both of them were Cree Summer. But when was niggas gonna tell me that we was in 2005 again?
Ooh, I gotta go. We about to play hide and go get it, and I'm about to try and go get it.
She plays Kevin's best friend Gerald. She plays like a fiend on a block. In episode 8, she plays like this old broad in jail. I can call her a broad. It's a cartoon. She's not real. In episode 7, she plays this little girl that Kevin meets at the arcade, and they all just sound like Peebo from Proud Family.
Oh my God, I did see it.
I don't know what kind of shit you're into, but I want no part of it.
This is not a dig at Cree Summer. I just think it's funny how similar they all sound. Dion Cole as Kev's Uncle Richard Jr. is definitely one of the standouts for me. Partially because of the relationship that he forms with Kev's stick-ass white teacher that might be the most wholesome interracial relationship that I've ever seen in one of these cartoons. And another part is because of these line reads.
I've been their mom and dad by myself, no help, no sleep, no pussy for 48 hours. Do I look like Eddie motherfucking Murphy, nigga?
Now, this is a very funny line read, but it sent me down a 15-minute downward spiral. This cartoon is supposed to take place in 1993, and this is a joke about Eddie Murphy and children. My first thought was Daddy Daycare, a movie where Eddie Murphy and his homeboy open an affordable daycare in their home, but that's from 2003, 10 years after this episode takes place. So then I was like, okay, well maybe this is a joke about Eddie Murphy's pivot to child-friendly movies, right? But that started with stuff like Mulan and Dr. Dolittle, which came out in 1998, which is 5 years after this episode takes place. Eddie's 2 most most recent movies by this point were Boomerang and The Distinguished Gentleman, which I've never heard of, but my quick Wikipedia search says that Shirley Ralph's in it. Neither film is about children, and both are rated R. So then, right, I thought maybe it's about those Mr. Rogers sketches from SNL, where Eddie would play a hood, pissed off version of Mr. Rogers. And if that's the case, this is a stupid fucking joke for no other reason other than the fact that I didn't get it immediately. So Kevin Hart actually voices himself in this cartoon. And there's no cute little modifier to make him sound younger. It's just grown man voice coming out of a little body. Just like Kevin Hart himself. That was too easy. I'm usually better than that. I think adults voicing kid cartoon characters and still keeping their normal voices has a lot of charm if done right, and if the adult has like a certain kind of voice, I guess. Characters like Dipper from Gravity Falls or Lisa Simpson aren't that big of a jump from the actors' normal voices, but you really get used to these voices coming out of these characters. There's slight nuances in the performance. Dipper's slight voice cracks, how Lisa's voice is slightly higher than Yardley Smith's. Really small details that go a really long way. I eventually got used to middle-aged Kevin Hart voice coming out of this child, but it took way longer than I thought. But I think part of it too is because Kevin Hart isn't that strong of a voice actor, at least not yet. You really get to watch him figure this out throughout this cartoon. That's not a knock at Kevin's acting ability either. I honestly kind of had Kev fucked up until I saw that Netflix movie Fatherhood. He's unbelievable in that. A really strong, emotional performance. But he's only ever been just like alright in cartoons. I wasn't begging for this nigga to get an Annie for fucking DC Superdogs or whatever. This is the most voice acting that Kev has ever had to do. Some reads are pretty off, especially when surrounded by such unbelievable talent. But still, when he needs to sell an emotion or make this kid sound really sincere, I think he does a decent enough job pulling it off. Anyway, here's a clip of him shitting on himself.
It's everywhere! It's even in my socks!
Don't smoke, huh? Alright, I don't think I agree with that. Comparatively though, Kev has these two little cousins that appear a few times throughout the cartoon, and whoever played these two wins the medal for series best in my eyes. I cannot believe how hard I was laughing at some of these line deliveries.
Can we go see The Lion King? I heard it's about an OG lion that gets smoked. Then his kid comes back to cap the motherfucker who did it.
Young man, what do you want to be when you grow up?
I'll try to be your mama's new bull thing. I heard she thick as fuck.
I like this nigga. We got the same values. I think the last thing I want to say about Lil Kev is that this cartoon is fucking gorgeous. So much conversation online about adult animation is everyone complaining that things look too identical, but I sincerely think that that's just because everything not animated like Family Guy or Ricky Morty just goes unnoticed. Lots of people bitch about the shows that look alike and just don't watch the ones that don't. I can name so many unappreciated cartoons that look so vastly different, and you could just throw this on top of the pile. The lines might be some of the first things that stick out to any artists that are watching. Somebody gotta drop the file for whatever this brush is. The colors are really warm, which is great, especially in comparison to all these other bright ass adult animated comedies. This dream sequence in the first episode looks fucking incredible. Love the limited palette and the colors just kind of bleeding out the lines. If I wanted to, I could talk about how cool this show looks all day. It's such a breath of fresh air. There's a lot of great dynamic drawings and poses, lots of subtle things that you wouldn't catch on your first watch if you weren't looking for them. The characters are constantly moving, they're constantly expressive. Even the background design, while familiar, still gives this cartoon an identity of its own. Look at some of these incidentals. These are the funniest looking background characters since Praise Petey. Whenever a cartoon finds a unique way to simplify everybody, it always makes me laugh. Who the fuck was I trying to impress with that Praise Petey name drop, golly. Lil Kev is a good time. There's a lot of really big laughs in here, a whole bunch of heart, and some killer voice acting and art direction. If you need a 10-episode cartoon to just sit back and enjoy, look no further. I had a lot of fun with this one, and I'm excited to see if they get to do more. It's good to know that something else exists for me to put that bullshit BET Plus subscription I got to good use. I swear, I copped that shit for that booty ass Martin reunion special and just keep forgetting to cancel it. Now I just watch 3 episodes of Miss Pat every 2 months. This is what I be doing. Y'all be thinking I'm busy when really I'm just watching Emmy-winning BET sitcoms. The truth is out there now.
Cartoons are the first time in your life where you get to decide who you want to be, or you get to see the possibility. Can I be the fastest, the smartest, the wisest? Can I fly to Mars, right? And that happens when you're a little kid sitting in front of that idiot box and you see these images and decide. Well, when you're a little brown boy or girl and you see images that don't reflect that, then you don't get to start dreaming right away. And that's why Lil Kev is important right now.
Since I'm in the process of making my own, I guess the idea behind how a lot of adult cartoons end has really been on my mind recently. So here's a video about it. A lot of adult animation just kind of stops, bruh. Like, I never really noticed it. Lots of shows are really short-lived, maybe like a good 1 or 2 seasons. Maybe every once in a while they'll sneak in something a little cute when they find out that they're about to end. That's kind of the impression I got from the little thing they do at the end of Bless the Hearts. But yeah, man, if you love any of these shows, good luck with that closure shit. You better off watching kids cartoons. I started watching Mission Hill a few months ago and I stopped. Not because it was bad, that shit was actually hard as fuck. Super gas, if you will. No, I stopped because I was loving it too much and I know I'm gonna run out. But I think because of how often this happens is what makes actual adult animated finales seem like a really big deal. A lot of the time it's the episodic sitcoms that don't get a finale. They either run forever or they just cut off mad quick. I think niggas see this section of the genre as sort of disposable to a degree. Shows with through lines really have the really anticipated finales that really make it feel like the show went out with a bang. A show like BoJack Horseman got the rare finale season, where the idea of it being the ending just kind of lingers over your head for 10 episodes. The View from Halfway Down gets all the attention nowadays. It is a phenomenal episode that really sets up the finale really well, but the actual finale, Nice While It Lasted, really sticks that landing. You get these scenes with BoJack and everyone else in the cast. It's really gratifying to see how far the relationships have come by this point. If I had more time, I go over what this episode did for every character, but I don't. I wrote this very late, which is a joke I do a lot. I wonder what that says about me.
I need help!
I really like this bit with Todd. It's small and it's silly, but it is very him, and just the kind of stupid thing that really means something the more you think about it.
And I was thinking about my mom. I feel like she doesn't really get me, but she's trying. And a couple years ago, I never thought I would have any kind of relationship with her.
What changed?
I did, or she did, or we are. It's like the song says, you do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. You turn yourself around. That's what it's all about.
BoJack's conversation with Diane is really great too. The relationship is a huge part of the show, even down to them sitting on the roof together, like that's just a motif. That last shot is such a bold choice. They hang on this shot of them just sitting there, looking at the stars for so long as Mr. Blue plays. A big swing that really makes you feel it. Alright, let me get this shit off the screen before they fuck around and claim this goofy shit. I think one of the strongest adult animated finales is actually Home Movies, an underrated show with an even more underrated finale. It has Brendan and his friends getting negative feedback on their movies at test screenings.
One of the things I thought, well, let's start with character.
Okay.
Wrong! Just got it wrong.
I just got it wrong?
Nobody likes what they do. They fight while they're trying to put together an ending for a 5-year-old movie, yet they still feel like they should make movies. They have to. It's not because their work will make anyone happy. It's not for any audience or financial gain. It is just because they feel like they have to.
Honestly, I don't think our movies should be watched. All I know is this. We keep coming here after school every single day, and we just keep doing it. And then, I don't know, and then we just do it, and I guess it feels like we should just be doing it, I guess. I don't know. Weird.
And I always thought this was such a cool thematic way to close out this cartoon, because that's what creating at this age is. Or was, I don't know. This motherfucker's half my age making double my salary on TikTok.
Quit playing. Robert. I didn't do this stuff. This is not me.
But at least when I was a kid, you just had to make stuff if you were creative. It was just in your DNA back then, and it probably still is.
Oh, no.
So what does everybody want to eat?
Pizza?
What
about place with a salad bar? One of those all you can eat salad bars.
All right, shut up. Sorry I asked.
A lot of adult cartoons do what I like to call a safe finale. An episode that functions as a normal episode, nothing too out of the ordinary if they get more episodes, but something satisfying enough that it serves as a finale in case they don't. It's a real fine line to walk, and some do it really well. There was a point in time about 10 years ago when everybody thought The Simpsons was gonna end because of contract stuff, believe it or not. Season 23's Holidays of Future Past, a Christmas episode with the family 20 years into the future.
How would you like some future sex?
Why do you say future? This is now.
I never noticed they kind of just gave up on putting years to these future episodes. Good thing, because it is 2024 and I am still waiting for the British to save our asses in World War III.
That's true.
I think it's a really cute episode. Wouldn't have been the greatest finale in the world. It's definitely not as good as some of the stuff they would go on to do 10 years later, like Pixelated and Afraid or something. But I think, for what it's worth, it's a nice shot. Opening the show on present day Christmas and ending it on future Christmas would have been a really nice bow to tie on top of this thing. Oh, and in case you're not caught up on the lore, Homer apparently killed Maude and Edna, I guess.
It's so hard to find somebody new.
Sure is. That's why after Homer accidentally killed Edna, I married Maude's ghost.
There is no God, Nettie. It's just an empty, meaningless void.
Isn't she pretty?
Every time Futurama gets picked up for a new order, they always make sort of a safe finale based on the very big possibility that they will not be back. The Devil's Hands are idle playthings from season 4, a real favorite of mine.
You can't just have your characters announce how they feel. That makes me feel angry.
And they got those 4 movies, Into the Wild Green Yonder was written as a possible ending. Probably ends with my favorite imagery out of all of these. They died, I think. I don't know. I can't remember season 6 anymore. Overclockwise was in the middle of the Comedy Central run. It's probably the one I think about the least out of all of these, but the moment with Fry and Leela reading their futures while reacting is very sweet. And there's Meanwhile from the end of that run, which was actually the finale for 10 years. But then they came back and cucked Hermes. I went back and forth for years about how I felt about Meanwhile. I think one thing that I always thought was really cool about Devil's Hands was that it was kind of just an episode. It had a big climax and an ending line that's a little on the nose if you knew this was the last episode.
Please don't stop playing, Fry. I want to hear how it ends.
Ah, fuck you, that's so good though. But Meanwhile, with its heavy tone in that last chunk, it always sort of felt like it screamed finale, and I didn't really know how I felt about that. But even if I'm right about that, I don't think that has anything to do with the actual quality, because it is a good episode, and the last line in this one is equally as emotionally gratifying as the one from Devil's Hands.
You mean we'll all get to live our lives over again?
Of course. We won't remember anything that's happened.
What do you say? Want to go around again? I do.
I think the cool thing about Futurama is that no matter where you decide to call it, they all have their own things to appreciate. The heart of the show has always been Fry and his connection to Leela, and all of these make sure to make that a main focus. You do that, and you can never go wrong.
Stop! Take my hands, you evil metal dog!
Ooh, Jesus.
King of the Hill, classic ending with To Sirloin with Love. A top 10 episode depending on who you ask, especially if that person is me. The pilot is about Hank's relationship with his son and their disconnect while trying to learn how to love each other. The finale is about Hank and Bobby finding that middle ground and connecting on multiple levels that they both see the same amount of value in. In the end, Hank reaches out for Bobby's hand for a handshake. And if you know anything about this character, this was a big deal. This nigga almost not voted because the candidate had a weak handshake. Hank now respects Bobby. He sees him as a man. And while the whole show is him slowly getting to that point, this moment right here is when it totally settles in. That boy is right, my nigga, just in his own way. In the last montage, legendary. Nancy goes to Dale for her headaches and not John Redcorn. We finally get to see what Boomhauer's job is. Everyone just like gathers and meets in the yard because a father and son are grilling together.
Well, Dad, it looks like this is the last one.
Oh, you're just getting started, Bobby. You'll be grilling your whole life.
Just like you.
Yep.
Yep.
It looks like this is the last one? Fuck out of here, that shit is so hard. My favorite thing, right, is how the camera pans out to an overview of Arlen, just like how the series starts with a pan in. And yup is both the final word ever said in this entire show and the first word ever said in this entire show.
Yep.
King of the Hill also has a separate safe finale from a few years before this, Lucky and Luann's wedding. That's why literally every character is there. There was actually a scene that was cut where Hank pretty much says the entire series happened in a year.
Boy, I can't believe it was just a year ago that Luann's mama stabbed her daddy with a fork and she moved into our house.
What's cool about this one, right, this deleted scene, is that it ends with Hank swatting a mosquito, just like how he does when the show starts too. Stuff like this, right, is the easiest way to emotionally manipulate me. Finale could be dog shit, but do a callback to the pilot, I'm on your dick for life. No pause either, nigga, it's Pride Month. The season finale of the 3rd season of the Boondocks was one that I always kind of felt was a safe series finale too. It's Going Down. Huey's status as a domestic terrorist was always something that was just kind of happening in the background in the show. This one brings it forward and focuses on what happens when they actually go after Huey. but it is also super fucking stupid. This might be some of the dumbest television I've watched in a while, and I mean that as a good thing.
I remember when these shits first came out, man. Bitches would be coming up to you like, let me see that iPhone. Let me play with it. Let me stick it up my ass.
This is like a parody of 24. This white guy keeps kicking people in the nuts. He got kind of like a vendetta because all his girls keep blowing up. I do not understand this man's pain.
Jesus fucking Christ, that's terrible, Jack. He tied her to a missile? What kind of deranged Wile E. Coyote shit is that?
This part where Ruckus is kicking this white man in the nuts is some real series finale shit right here. You know this show was over if he was able to get to this point.
Ruckus, wait!
Taking something going on throughout the whole show, escalating it, and putting the two opposite characters next to each other for 30 minutes. I think that's a really cool way to end a show like this. And I've always really appreciated this ending beat. This show practically turned itself up to 100 in the 3rd season. All these fights and just like big looking scenes. But this last bit after all the action with Huey, Riley, and Granddad has like this like comic strip quality to it that really brings the show back to its roots.
Man, Huey, you were really right this time. You said it was going to happen, and it happened. Imagine all the problems we could avoid if we ever started listening to you. Oh well!
I don't think I like the 4th season. I don't think I'm as hard on it as everyone else. I do like that Pretty Boy Flizzy episode.
Don't you ever question whether or not I beat Christiana. I whooped that bitch's ass.
But I actually do think its worst crime is that they didn't do another safe finale. The show just kind of ends on some bullshit now. But to be honest, I would not want to end this series with anything on this roster. Not even a shovel could fix this one. Granddad dates a Kardashian? I think that's the thing I'm the most afraid of with that new Futurama and King of the Hill. What if the new finale, whenever that comes, isn't as good because these are admittedly super high bars? In a lot of ways, right, I think a new successful series finale from these shows would justify them coming back in a really big way. But if they don't meet the bar, I don't know, niggas will be mad, I guess. I think in a perfect world, adult animated series get the chance to end on their own terms, even if they're canceled. I'd give a nigga my left rib for a sit down, shut up finale. That should show you how much I value my ribs. I only talked about a few finales this time around. I made this video in like 5 minutes based on finales that I've seen and remembered. There's still a lot I haven't seen, so let me know a few of your favorites in the comments. I just wanted to talk about some that stuck out to me. Look, like I said, dude, kids cartoons get all the damn endings. Join me in How to Die Junior. Fuck them kids, nigga.
Anyway, please donate to my pilot.